Good morning, Daybreak watchers. We're going to get going in about 40 seconds here.
To 2 p.m. Covering the news of the day and sharing ways for you to get off the sidelines and get active in your community, because change starts with you. Get involved and tune in to the Thom Hartmann program Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on your local Civic Media radio station.
Nightlight with Pete and Greg.
On the next Nightlight, we welcome Gas Buddy analyst Patrick DeHaan, then founder of the movie theater app Run P, joins the show.
Good morning!
Morning! Good morning!
Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
This is where Wisconsin wakes up. It's Daybreak with Brian Noonan and Jamie Martinson. Here are your hosts, Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. It is 6 minutes after 6 right now. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday morning. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. We're looking forward to hearing from you this morning. You can always get in touch with us, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Jamie, how are the allergies treating you today?
Oh, we have so much cold medicine and allergy medicine. It's fine. It's fine. I didn't even notice the pigeons who were eyeing me as I walked into the building. Usually if I see three birds perched on some sort of rail like I did, it is an attack. Yeah. And I usually try to avoid that. I could not because it was the only door into the studio today. So I had to pass them. I was waiting for anything. I was ready.
I think it's a right-wing conspiracy to keep you off the air. They're sending the birds. Frank is here, our executive producer. Parker's here, our technical producer. Frank, still battling what can only be described as a monumental sinus infection that is causing him to wear headbands of various sizes and colors. And I hear you have beef this morning, Frank.
It's not so much, well, yeah, I guess I do kind of have a little bit of beef. Here's my thing. This is based
Is it about big sinus?
No, it's about big concert tickets.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I know we've
got a problem with that today too.
I think everybody does. And for the most part, sometimes I understand the pricing and whatnot. Sometimes I don't. Mm-hmm. So usually this is something we would talk about on Swipe or Say, which we do in the 7 o'clock hour, if you never stick around that long.
Well, you should be here.
You should be. I know. You should be around that long.
Should be here. We get off at 9. That's just,
we're entertaining, so stick around.
So the news broke that Summerfest will have one less concert at the Family Insurance Amphitheater.
Yes.
And it was the Pussycat Dolls.
Right.
They canceled their entire tour.
Yeah.
Now, I was sitting on the couch yesterday with my lovely wife. And I look up from my laptop after I'm reading this, and I said, "Can I ask you a question?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Who is in charge of forecasting ticket sales for a tour? Because who in their right mind thought in today's economy right now that anybody's going to go, you know what I want to spend a ton of money on?
The
Pussycat Dolls tour."
Yeah.
With only 3 of them.
Whose bright idea was that? I mean, you could have seen this coming a mile away. I mean, Post Malone just had to cancel a bunch of shows to work on new music. Justin Bieber had to cancel a tour a couple years ago for health issues, although the ticket sales weren't too strong. Shawn Mendes did the same thing a couple of years ago.
There's been a couple more this year.
Yeah, there's been a couple more. This is becoming a common thing. Now, the other thing is, I think one thing, some artists are trying to play stadiums that they shouldn't be playing.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. You need to, your career is not an arena career anymore. Sometimes your career is, a parking lot outside a Walmart opening. But
I was going to say a casino.
The Black Keys.
Yeah, casino is a good spot. A small theater.
Yeah.
Summertime small amphitheater on a tour with a number of bands where you know,
Yeah.
oh, I don't really want to see them, but I want to see them.
A perfect example of that is New Kids on the Block. Blockhead grew up in the 90s, right? Original boy band.
You're a blockhead? Is
of
that what you called
course.
yourself? Amazing. Parker, make sure you get a cut of that she called herself a blockhead.
All right.
And we will be using it out of context.
Okay, please do. You should. But I mean, they did a tour 2 years ago, right? And
Yep.
it's exactly what we're talking about. They weren't trying to book these major stadiums. They were doing the casinos with bigger ballrooms. They were doing the outdoor amphitheaters, and let me tell you, it was packed. I mean, everything sold out for all of those shows because they actually marketed it to places that made sense for a boy band from the 90s. I mean, like, if 98 Degrees went on tour now, they're not filling up an arena, right? They're just not. And
No,
I'm
but
not
if
even
you did a boy band tour with a couple of boy bands, then they'd be good for an amphitheater, a summertime tour where people will sit outside and, you know.
I mean, because New Kids on the Block also did that with Salt and Peppa, and there was one other, and I didn't see that show, but they mixed in one other 90s act, and it was the same thing, like that we're talking about. They didn't oversell who they were for this moment in time. And let's be realistic, when it comes to the Pussycat Dolls, were they ever that monumental
That's
band?
what I mean.
I was going to say, I thought they were a novelty act from years ago.
You're not the Spice Girls.
No. The Spice Girls
isn't that
won't
the
even
one
tour
Carmen
again.
Electra was in or something, the Pussycat Dolls? I remember
Nicole
them vaguely from the
Scherzinger.
early aughts.
Nicole Scherzinger was their lead singer.
Oh,
And she went and did Masked Singer as one of the judges. She's not even on that anymore. And that's about the extent of the Pussycat Dolls. That they had a movie for, was it Dr. Dolittle? Was that the movie that they had a song in?
I have
I
no
don't even
idea.
know. I can't even tell you. But
They were in lingerie, right? Kinda?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, well, that's their selling
Always.
point.
Yeah. They didn't have even a gimmick like the Spice Girls did, right? Because at least with the Spice Girls, you had Sporty Spice and
Yeah, you could pick your favorite
Baby
spice.
right?
Ginger, for the record.
You,
I agree.
Yeah, ginger.
did-
I
ginger
fully
was-
agree, Brian.
Thank you, Frank. Great minds, buddy. Great minds.
you didn't even have like a great gimmick though with the Pussycat Dolls. At least Scherzinger could sing when she was their lead singer, so I give them that credit.
Was that the group that would have celebrities though come in and out? Like
I don't even know.
I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
I don't know.
all right, good. None of us know, which explains
No,
why
that's
they're
the
not.
whole point.
Yes.
I don't get the reasoning
Well,
behind this.
Summerfest. I don't remember this happening before, and it probably has, but I don't remember it. Where they seem to have lost a lot of acts this summer.
Yeah.
You know, like the bigger, like either the big arena ones or some of the at the BMO Pavilion ones. They seem to be a lot of dropouts.
Is that a question, though, of where we're at with ticket sales? Is that
Right.
a question of where we're at with economy, which would loop back into ticket sales? Is that...
I think it goes more to Frank's point because Summerfest is always going to have strong ticket sales.
Sure.
Because people will just go in. Like, I never go to Summerfest for a specific band.
Right.
I'll take that back. I may look on a couple days that I'm weighing out whether I'm going to go to Summerfest. And then I look and I say, oh, I know that guy, that band and that band and that. This is a better day for me because at least I know these bands.
Right.
But then I end up wandering around like most people who go to Summerfest. And if something catches my ear, I sit down at that stage for a little bit and then I get up and I wander off and I eat some deep fried food, wash it down with a cold beer, and I end up at another stage.
Which is
So-
exactly how you should do Summerfest.
Right. And so I think it goes to Frank's point where there was a change in booking a few years ago at Summerfest and the longtime booker retired. I don't know if it's just, maybe there's just slimmer pickings on people who are on tour and it's not the people who are going to jam pack a place.
Right.
And so, you know, if you're in the big amphitheater, I forget what they call the main one, but if you're in there,
American Family Insurance.
American
Amphitheater.
Family Insurance Amphitheater. If you're not selling that thing out quick, like Garth Brooks didn't cancel his
Right.
his
Right.
tickets, boom, they were gone. When they've had really strong acts in there, Those acts don't cancel. It's these borderline acts.
Well, and that's just it, because Garth Brooks is one of those acts that kind of transcends, right? Because I'm not a country fan. I'll listen to Garth Brooks. I would love to see Garth Brooks in concert because he's such an amazing performer,
but it's
right?
It's so scripted. And it's obviously
very scripted.
No,
I know all bands are scripted, but some of them are much better at making it at least seem like they're in the moment and not following the script.
When you're a guy who doesn't really, get out on stage much anymore, I kind of understand that. I get that.
But he does put on a show.
It's high energy. It's super fun. So I understand why Garth Brooks, and we don't see Garth Brooks very often.
Right.
Like we just don't see him very often. And if he's going to go out and do a show, it is usually an event. It's like a spectacle. It is 2 or 3 nights, and it is maybe only once or twice a year, if that. Because before Summerfest, when is the last time that he's actually performed live? I don't even know.
He doesn't tour that often.
No.
And maybe it's, and this is old man sounding, it's the audience for some of the bands that are being booked. Those aren't the audiences that have the money to buy expensive concert. Who has money to buy expensive concert tickets anymore?
not a lot of people.
Not a lot of people. And I went this morning because they're doing a promotion at Ticketmaster, and I went to try to score a couple of their $30 summer promotion tickets for a show, and those were gone. And see, I'm worried that the lawn may be sold out for one show I want to see. But going back to your beef, Frank, I think you got to target if you're trying to sell a big money tour now, somebody's got to be hot. Who currently, and you guys would know current music better than I, who's selling out arenas now? Who still has the pull?
Sabrina.
I was going to say
Sabrina, Olivia.
Yep.
Taylor.
Well, Taylor, of course.
Taylor's a
Beyonce
stadium.
could sell out
Yeah.
stadiums.
Even though she even had some weaker sales with her this last tour she was on, didn't she? I mean, she did very well, don't get me wrong. But
I
there
think
were
it
some
probably
venues-
depends on the area. I can say in our area, she had no issues.
Yeah, she had no issues selling out.
But Brian, I think it comes down to, this is where my beef comes in, is I think it's pretty easy. Like Parker, if I rattle off some people, can Garth Brooks can headline Summerfest? Do you think ticket sales would do well?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
If I got Taylor Swift, do you think she would do well?
Oh, 100%. She'd do better.
Do you think Bowling for Soup would do well?
Excuse you?
Bowling for Soup.
Bowling for Soup. Okay, I just want to make sure I heard you right.
It's a
with
real
the hit
thing.
song 1985.
And that was pretty much it.
They'd be great on a side stage.
They'd be super
at Summerfest.
Well, I was thinking $120 a pop to sit in the lawn for
Bowling for Soup.
Yeah.
Bowling for, are you?
How do you think they would do? Parker, yes or no?
No. I would
Bingo.
buy one ticket.
Most of these
guys
are
would keep rotating.
That's what I'm saying. Most of these are so common sense. I feel like whenever I see a tour that's canceled, I go, well, yeah, buddy, no kidding.
Wow.
The price point isn't there, and the arena's not great. The Black Keys had to do it, I think, last year, and they actually told the truth and put out the statement and go,
yeah,
I guess we can't play these bigger places anymore, so we're getting smaller places.
And
good, you haven't had a hit in 10 years, and you don't have a big catalog.
Right.
And I've seen Black Keys perform. They're fun. They do a really great show. But no, I would not see them in a big venue. Not now. I probably would have seen them in a big venue. Even when they were at the top of their game, I would have seen them in a big venue because they just don't have that type of catalog or library.
That's why Here Come the Zombies are on the Black & Decker stage and not in the
Love
amphitheater.
Here Come the Zombies.
I love Here Come the Zombies too.
So much fun. So much
All
fun.
right, well, listen. We'll talk about bands another time. We have to talk about Tom Tiffany trying to roll back birthright citizenship in Wisconsin. Oh, how quickly the mood changes here on Daybreak. Good morning. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson. It is 6:19 right now. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. I can do the dance if you need me to.
Oh, and Megan Trainor just canceled her tour. I knew there was
another
somebody
one.
else. I was like,
who the hell is paying? Hold on. This is another thing. This is a whole nother issue. I have never met a single person that was like, yeah, I'm really into Meghan Trainor.
Well,
Not one person.
No.
people who I have a major backlash against her now because of the weight loss.
Because she Ozempic.
They were like, you had a song called All About the Bass, and that was your anthem.
Where
and
the
now
line is, I won't be no silicone stick figure Barbie doll.
Yeah, and now they're like, and now if you put her side by side with Paris Hilton, it's really hard to tell who's who. It's not a knock on either of them. It's just
No,
I mean,
Jamie,
she
if
was
the
never
music
that
was good,
big.
nobody would care.
right,
Right, but she was. It wasn't like she was a gigantor before.
No, all of her music sounds the same too, and
Yes.
I love
Yep.
All About the Bass. It's a great song.
It's a catchy
It was
tune.
a one-hit wonder for me.
Yep.
Because she tried to duplicate the strength of that and the chart progress of that, and it never panned out. But
Yeah, but
kudos
once you
to
have
her
that,
for-
once you have that success, you don't want to let it go. But sometimes
mean,
you could keep going forever if you're just smart enough to say, all right, now we're playing theaters, 5,000
Yeah.
seat theaters, and we're selling them out or selling 4,500 tickets, and we're doing that all the time. Cool. And then in the summer we can play a state fair, or we can, and we could get people excited. You can ride out a few hits and make it your whole career. That's still be making money.
Meghan Trainor was an incredible songwriter before she had her own hit. Like, go do that because you obviously had success in that, right?
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
need you to be on my screen all the time. I don't. Yeah.
So much beef on the show already.
Lots of issues already this morning.
I like it. I like coming out hot.
10 seconds till we're back.
Local voices, statewide impact. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
6:22 right now. We hope that your morning's going well so far. Thank you so much for waking up with the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
Good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. We are happy to have you here. As Jamie said, you want to get into a hold of us? Sure. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. You can watch the show as well as listen to it on YouTube, on our stream there, or on our new Facebook page. Oh, it's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie, where we stream the show as well. And you can go to Instagram and follow us. And there's so many places. We're so accessible. What about the podcast? Yeah, those are on Spotify. Yeah, that's where all the big boys play. So we're in that sandbox too. Go check that out. Tom Tiffany, Jamie, your favorite Republican frontrunner for governor of Wisconsin, is working hard along with the Trump administration to put an end to birthright citizenship. So if your parents came from another country, and whether they're here legally or not, if you're born in this country, you are a citizen. That is in the Constitution of the United States of America, mostly a document that has been ignored by this administration and used as just a jumping off point for whatever he wants to do. But so you remember, in April, the Supreme Court heard arguments about birthright citizenship. Several of the justices, they were skeptical, to say the least, about whether a president can unilaterally narrow the 14th Amendment. They should be skeptical. That should just be a hard no, right?
No, you can't
Hard
do
no.
that for 150 years. If you were born in the United States on U.S. soil, you've been a citizen for 150 years. No skepticism, just no.
Yeah, this is, you don't have to think about it. Should I set myself on fire? I'm skeptical that would be a good idea.
No, just
don't.
no.
If your kid is going to stick a fork in an outlet, you're not skeptical of the outcome. You just flat out, that's a bad decision. We're going to move on. Well, Josh Call in Wisconsin joined a multi-state lawsuit arguing that Trump's order would sow chaos in schools, hospitals, everywhere. We know that whole thing. So last year, Tom Tiffany, who voted in favor of the big, beautiful bill, which made ICE the highest funded federal agency by awarding them $75 billion on top of their usual $10 billion. He also, this is where it gets tricky, he also co-sponsored the Birthright Citizenship Act, Jamie. He wanted to mirror Donald Trump, who, not coincidentally, now is endorsing Tom Tiffany for governor of Wisconsin. But yeah, this is a guy who, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure his supporters are like, yeah, that's why we want to vote for him, because he's doing away with this horrible program. But now, if something like that were to pass in Wisconsin, you have a population of nationless children. They weren't born somewhere else. They were born here, but you're saying they're not citizens. Well, where are they going to go to be citizens? How are you going to deal with them when it comes to schooling and medical care and everything else?
I can't even believe that this is a conversation, right?
All right, well, change the subject.
I can't even believe that this is a conversation, and this is real life that we're talking about right now.
It horribly is.
Because look at what this would do, right? You mentioned it. Where would those children go? Where would those adults go? But enrollment in public schools, access to health care, basic identification and legal status, those would all be issues that these families, these children would be facing. You look at what would happen through families, workplaces, local economies. What happens if a baby is born in a hospital? What are you going to do with that baby in that moment in time? And those parents, I don't even understand the logic of this. And here's the thing that bothers me more than anything. Tom Tiffany wants to be governor of Wisconsin. I mean, is this what we are actually supporting as a state? That these are
Not
the
yet.
things? Well, that's just it. I mean, we just saw what happened in Ohio and Indiana last night, right? If you paid attention to the races last night in the primaries, when it came to the primaried Senate races, Trump wasn't very happy with the Indiana Senate because they didn't allow him. They didn't give him the redistrict maps, and so he and the lieutenant governor, Micah Beckwith, vowed to basically get their revenge in the primaries, and they did. Five of the seven
that Trump backed in. Now, in the
running
overall
on
scheme
policies
of
like this, by the way,
right, and it's the overall scheme. It's Republican for Republican, but the good thing about the Republicans in Indiana prior to last night was they backed their people. They went against Trump's wishes. They said, we are voting because this is the voice of our constituents.
Right.
They actually did their job. Well, there's enough people in Indiana, I guess, who didn't want that job done, and Trump is still the head of that party. There's no way around it.
But it tells you that as we look at what's happening across the country and we look at what Tom Tiffany is proposing, backing this bill, it's a mindset. And this is what the GOP supports. They actually support upending the Constitution to undo law. Again, 150 years. The 14th Amendment has allowed birthright citizenship. They're also wanting to upend families, economies. I don't understand what the logic is.
Well, there is no logic, because for people who might be supporting something like this, think about this. A baby is born here. They were born here in Wisconsin. Now they're 20 or they're 16, and all of a sudden these rights are taken away. Where do they go? How do they get a driver's license? How do they get a job? They didn't come here, whether you want to argue legal or illegal immigration, however you want to do that. And everybody's in agreement that the immigration system has to be resolved or improved. But if you're a child and you've grown now into a young adult, what do you do? Where do you go?
Right.
Who do you belong to? Your whole life has been in the United States.
Confusion and chaos.
You have rights.
Effect.
You have rights. Well, we'll talk about the GOP. We love them. They're trying to maybe give some funding, but not really for the ballroom, only for security. We'll parse that out too. It's Daybreak, and this is the Civic Media Network.
It's maddening to me that these are real candidates.
They didn't even put up any fight in in Wisconsin. We just here's the guy.
No,
this is the guy that's running.
The
president likes him. Oh,
there were 3 people, and he was actually even mad at Tiffany for a while because the House margins are going to be so close.
Sure.
And so he was actually a little upset with Tiffany for a while, but that's just it. I mean, Indiana's a great example. Tom Tiffany and this bill is a great example. If you do what he wants, then he basically endorses you, and it's mass chaos. There's no plan other than we can't have brown people. Okay. I don't understand.
Oh, I think you do.
I mean, Usha Vance is
not for long.
She has birthright citizenship. Her parents were immigrants, U.S. citizens, and she was born here.
Marco Rubio's parents.
Yes. Like, what are we doing? It doesn't make any sense.
We're allowing bad things to happen.
And we're allowing these people to run not only the national government, but now our state governments, where real decisions and real things happen for people every day. I'm not saying that the federal stuff doesn't matter. It does, absolutely. But when you're looking at it on a state level, I mean, think about Tom Tiffany and these policies in play in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But
there's enough
craziness.
people who it doesn't bother. It's not affecting them, which is the repercussions. Now, maybe this issue will never affect you or your family.
Sure.
But we saw what happened when all these people voted for something they never thought would happen to them.
Right.
And now look at the situation we're in. And how many people are saying, I didn't vote for this. You did.
Right.
You did vote for this. And what if, maybe your kid meets somebody in college and they grow very fond of each other and they decide to get married, and all of a sudden that person's not only citizenship is stripped away, but their rights are stripped away. And it's not like, go back to where you came from. Well, I came from Ashwaubenon.
I came from here.
That's where I came from. I was born here. Here's my birth certificate that really doesn't mean anything anymore.
I mean, it would literally be, if this is something that the GOP supports, it is chaos for families. And even if people don't realize it, it's going to strain your local economy, and you're going to feel it there's going to be so many ramifications of that. There's going to be legal battles and court drains for years while people go through this process.
And again, it's in the Constitution. Republicans were supposed to be these fundamentalists. They're, supporters of the Constitution. And
the Supreme Court is so funny. We're skeptical. What? What are you skeptical of? It's a law.
We got a couple of texts.
Yeah, John and Scott. Should we start with those? We can start with those.
Yeah, we can start with those. Start with them. There's another feel-good story.
It's maddening. And when you look at Sally also chiming in, when you look at what's happening in Florida, right? And you look at how fast DeSantis had his document signed for redistricting, and you watch what Louisiana is doing with basically vacating the primaries. It's a problem, and it's not just a Tom Tiffany problem. Why I brought up Indiana, because it's a problem across the board, but obviously it goes so far beyond the state borders at this point.
Yeah, this is a national problem. This is not.
All right. We have got 10 seconds till we're back.
Oh, my God.
Want to join in on the conversation? Call or text 855-75-CIVIC. Now back to Brian and Jamie.
6:35 right now. We hope that you are having a great morning. If you're listening in Madison on WMDX or in Eau Claire on 93.5 The Tab or in Wisconsin Rapids this morning on WFHR, thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate it. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. You want to text in 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. You can also call because then you get the additional bonus of not only talking to Jamie and myself, but you get to talk to Parker. And that's, that is a treat. That's how he answers the phone. Hello.
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 May I
Good
help
morning.
you?
Welcome to the radio show. What do you want to say to Brian and Jamie? So.
I think you should start that. Just like
I've been
that.
doing that. I don't know
all
why.
right, all right.
Well, yeah, how do you think I came up with that? I didn't just make that up. We have some people texting, Jamie.
We
that
do.
That were jumping in on our conversation about Tom Tiffany getting backing a plan and then proposing a bill that would end birthright citizenship.
And if you were listening to the show behind the show, one of the things we were talking about is how this is not just a Wisconsin problem. This is a nationwide problem. We're seeing these types of actions backed by the president and his administration all across the board. John from Oshkosh saying, listening on WISS, he says in text this morning, it's just another example of this administration breaking things and making chaos. No solutions, just destruction. Thank you for that text. Scott from Madison, listening on WMDX, says following the rules is exactly why the Democrats are always going to lose. Democrats need to be willing to pass things that seem unconstitutional and let the courts decide. We need to be willing to let each branch of government do their job and not self-regulate themselves.
The problem with that, Scott, is right now the branches of governments are not doing their jobs.
Right.
There are no checks and balances. The executive branch has taken over basically all three branches, and passing unconstitutional laws just because we figure the courts will back us. That's a dangerous game to play, especially at this day and age.
Yes. And then finally, Sally, also listening on WMDX in Madison this morning, she says the cruelty is the point. That's why. Jim also chiming in over on our Facebook chat this morning. He says the Republicans, I believe is who he's referring to, is now the tax and spend party, court cases, and the ballroom. And, I mean, when did the parties flip their principles? I missed that part of
started to flip with
happening.
the Tea Party, and it is completely flipped with there was we can't go into the whole evolution from the Tea Party to MAGA, but MAGA has brought all of this to a boiling point. It started there, and there's always been fringes of both parties. We still have wild fringes in both parties today.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that now one of the fringes of the Republican Party got the power, that's what scares. To be honest, that's what scares me about the Democrats. I'm a Democrat. It's like when the fringe gets the power, bad things can happen. Not that you elect somebody who's mamby-pamby from the center, who's doesn't have opinions and isn't going to get things done, but you gotta watch those fringes because we're seeing the evidence of that right now. So it was just a horrible evolution from the Tea Party to MAGA to the elevation of MAGA and the complete takeover of the party, where now old school Republicans, the party doesn't want anything to do with them anymore.
Right. And what bothers me most about that is when you do have those old school principled Republicans, and let me be clear, I miss those people. I really do miss those people. I think they, especially running the government, I think they still exist. They just get overshadowed. And because they are afraid of what this president might say, who he might back, they begin to placate. And that's what we've seen over and over.
Look at what happened in Indiana.
Yep.
These were, and having lived in Indiana before and driving through Indiana, performing in Indiana, it is a very, very conservative place, except for Northwest Indiana and a couple of hubs around Indianapolis. But so I'm not praising the Republicans there because they've done a lot of, Mike Pence is from there. I'm not going to say any more about that. But at least in this instance, When it came to gerrymandering their maps, they listened to their constituents and said no. And they defied the president, and he did what he said he was going to do. He got the lieutenant governor. He primaried 7 seats of these Republican state senators who had voted, actually done their job, but didn't do their job the way he wanted the job done. He primaried them, and 5 of the 7 lost their seats.
Yep.
So it's trying times.
It is trying times, and I think the point to all to this entire conversation is we're seeing it over and over and over across multiple states. I mean, one of the biggest examples of this party placating is what happened in Florida, literally within an hour after the Supreme Court's decision on Voting Rights Act. Ron DeSantis had those documents written up. They were signed, and all he had to do was put the plan for redistricting Florida into action because that's what the president wants, because the president has a club and home there. You look at what happened in Louisiana. I mean, they canceled an entire primary to make sure that this president was happy and they get what they want as far as who can vote and making it easy for people.
And now recall papers have been filed against Landry down there.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
See what happens
it's a precarious
in Louisiana.
situation. It's a precarious situation as far as the placation to the president of the United States.
Well, John, who left the comment on our YouTube stream, said something about the ballroom and the tax. Who's tax and spend now? Well, John, that was a perfect segue into the fact that the GOP is offering $1 billion for White House security, but they're saying it's not for the ballroom. It's for under the ballroom. So Senate Republicans Monday, late Monday, proposed $1 billion to pay for the new White House security measures, which nobody has said anything about. We don't know what those security measures are. It could just be a big wine cellar. We don't know, only because they haven't been released. We've heard about the ballroom. Everybody's wanted it forever. No. So they're still disagreeing. Even the Republicans are disagreeing over whether the money would cover the ballroom. Now, Chuck Grassley, who resembles the Crypt Keeper in both appearance and mental acuity.
By the way, he is 93, almost 93 years old. I just looked it up. He will be 93 years old in September.
If you live in Iowa, why? Why? Not why do you live in Iowa? Why do you?
Why
valid.
do people keep electing him?
I don't know.
I don't.
That's what
understand.
I'm saying. I would love to talk to Republicans in Iowa. There's nobody. There's no whippersnapper 75-year-old you could elect in Iowa to be your senator. There are no kids that want to come in.
By the way, he has also served as a U.S. Senator in the state since January of 1981. I was 3 years old when he went into office, 2.5 years old when he went into office. I'm going to be 48 in October. He is, I mean, it just tells you, I don't want to digress too much.
No, let's.
He is in charge of this committee that is making this decision. And I don't have any. I'm not ageist. I'm just saying 93 since 1981.
I'm not ageist either, but 93 is ridiculous. Being in power, being in that seat since 1981 is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It's not his choice. Somebody's putting him there. Right. So Iowa people who vote for Chuck Grassley, you are ridiculous. There has to be. I've been in Iowa. It's pretty big. There's a lot of folks. There's a lot of corn and cows, but there's a lot of people. I'm guessing there has to be another Republican that could replace him. What has he done for Iowa that it makes him so indispensable?
Well,
Parker, we joked yesterday about a brain in a jar. Chuck Grassley will still be getting elected when his 110-year-old brain is sitting in fluid.
Oh, God.
This is why you need term limits. That's all I'm going to say. That when you're proposing $1 billion as the chair of a committee for security at underground security at a ballroom.
Now,
this is why we need term
limits. He is the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. He laid out a funding package for security upgrades because he said he was afraid the Kaiser was going to come and get him. So that's why he laid out these things for the East Wing modernization project, and that's the name. That's the big name, like Operation Sledgehammer or whatever they are. But that's for the plan for the 90,000 square foot project to rebuild the East Wing that got demolished before things were ready to go. So they said the text of the legislation says the money is going to be used for both above ground and underground security features that the administration has said they really need. But they have not told us any of it. Now, they will say, well, how secure would it be if we told you what the plans were? I don't know, because we're paying for it. So maybe give us an overview.
It's weird that taxpayers want some sort of reason why they're spending $1 billion.
$1 billion. $1 billion.
$1 billion. I think what worries me the most about this is what lays in this bill, though, right? Because this is not just a bill for extra security measures, Brian. The legislation around this would include the Senate's budget reconciliation bill. That's the problem with this. And that could be enacted by just a very simple majority, which would bypass any potential filibuster, which is what they've wanted to do, knowing that they can't just take the nuclear option at this point.
And remind people that what's the big line item in that reconciliation budget that there's been a battle over?
ICE funding is what they really, really would like to get done. But the underlying language of this would also eliminate the need for, spending and generating all of this revenue. And it would basically make sure that the Republicans do not need the Democrats to vote this bill through. Well, that is the legislation being proposed for $1 billion in security. Hey, what about Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, hospitalization, education? What about all of those things?
I have 4 words to sum that up, Jamie. Let them eat cake.
Yes.
It is the rich get richer, the citizenry, whatever happens to you, happens to. Good luck to you. I don't know who they think is going to do all their errands and serve them at their.
Well, no, they want to end birthright citizenship. So
they want to end everything. They want everybody else.
No immigration, no undocumented. They
no health care for other citizens. No help for kids. How are those kids going to grow up to be? It doesn't make
backbones of the society is what they want to eliminate.
Of course. But then what happens if you don't have a spine?
You fall over and you're weak.
Yes, you are nothing. You're just a blob. And that's pretty soon I think at some point there is going to have to be some sort of clash between the classes. And I don't mean some sort of Russian revolution, but it's at some point, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, you have to look at this and go, what about us? Why are we being completely left out and the rich get richer? Well, we'll figure it out. Hey, put that cigarette out and put out your campfire because things are dangerous here in Wisconsin. Hey, that's good news. It's Daybreak on the Civic Media Network. Is it time for Swipe or Stay yet?
We're all just going to burn.
We're going to burn it all down. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
We could take a bucket brigade from down here and take all the water upstate.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh. $1 billion.
$1 billion. They have a bunker. They have security measures in the White House already. It's worked out great. It's probably not gold enough. But gold is a very soft metal. So if he thinks he's going to make this security bunker out of gold,
right?
Well, let him go in there. Let him go in the really soft bunker.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I figured out the problem with the Secret Service yesterday based on the TMZ story I posted. I think I figured it all out.
If you looked at now, I don't know if it was Secret Service or private, but the guy, as they're taking down the metal detectors, and there's one guy who's not he's looking like where people will have gone.
Right.
And he's the one that the suspect runs by and pulls his gun.
Right.
But he looks checked out 100%.
Yeah.
I've seen Secret Service in action. Those guys don't usually, they're not chilling. They're very serious all the time, whether you're coming in or going out.
It's fascinating to me because I understand how Secret Service works. I understand that it's a government appointee. I have to wonder, though, if the president is trying to involve himself in choosing his Secret Service agents based on what we know, the conflict they had on January 6th with his Secret Service agents.
Right.
In this particular
he doesn't want anybody to say no.
Right. So are we getting... I don't want to call them flunkies because if you have to get through the Secret Service, it's not necessarily easy.
Like-minded agents,
right? Or maybe the ones who didn't do as well in the classes leading
talking
up
about the
to
guys who
Secret
graduated at the bottom of the class.
Yeah, like maybe we don't have the top of the class age. I don't know, but you have to wonder. Based on some of that, not to mention the fact that there was also, when he was campaigning, he got very upset with his Secret Service detail then, who were top of the tier, during the shooting in Pennsylvania.
Yes, because they wouldn't let him stand up.
Right.
No, the Secret Service, those guys and women, those agents, trained. They are top tier, especially the protection detail. There's a lot of branches of the Secret Service that, they're never around the president, but
that's kind of where my brain goes because of the pushback they give him because it's their job and they're trained. Is he choosing ones who agree with him?
We've got about 10 seconds to our back.
Oh, Parker, how dare
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. It is 6:52. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. Glad you're with us. Are you an outdoorsman? Do you burn your leaves? I don't even know if it's legal anymore. It's not where I am. But the irony of what's been happening in Wisconsin, from a political level now to a nature level, because the last few weeks we have had nothing but severe storms and flooding and rivers running over their banks, and people are like, oh my gosh, and we talked yesterday about a storm, or we're going to talk later about storm damage and all of that, and yet parts of the state have no water.
Yeah.
A high fire danger alert is out for much of Wisconsin, according to the DNR, who suspended burn permits for 43 counties. I thought we were underwater. And now it's like, well, we were.
Portions of this, well, in fact, there's flood warnings again for several portions of the state currently. But if you go into the northern part of the state, there's been very little moisture. In fact, they haven't seen any of the rain in a good chunk of the state, especially in the Northwoods area that we have in the southeast corner of the state.
That's right. Well, now you are not going to be able to make your s'mores outside because high fire danger continues for much of Wisconsin. The DNR announced that it has suspended burn permits for 43 counties and asked people to avoid any outdoor burning.
Wow.
Very bad news for some groups of people. On Tuesday, southern Wisconsin and eastern parts of central Wisconsin were in high fire danger, which again, I guess as I think back and look at the radar, the swath of severe weather cut right across the middle.
Yep.
It's like an ice cream sandwich, but it's a drought sandwich. Drought is the bun, and the floods are the ice cream. Why did I spell that out for you? You understood. Everybody understood the analogy. I just felt the need.
Though.
Thank you. Maybe that's why I felt the need to explain it. But halfway through, I went, well, I have to finish it, but this was dumb.
And you said ice cream sandwich, and I wasn't going to stop you.
Yeah, I was, because suddenly I started thinking about an ice cream sandwich, and I was like, what are we talking about? Rain? Oh, okay,
Exactly.
I want chocolate. Anyway, so yesterday, southern Wisconsin, as I said, were in high fire danger. Wildfires ignite easily, spread rapidly, and can be challenging to control, the DNR said. So as Jamie, you rightfully pointed out, most of northern and central Wisconsin is under very high fire danger, which means that wildfires will just go start. And I have lived through wildfires in California, and it is terrifying.
They are terrifying. And I mean, that's the thing, too. We love to be outdoors here in the state of Wisconsin. We love to camp. We love to do our fire pits. Oh, they're super fun until you realize what the ramifications could be. And, you know, we talk about wildfires and people like to put them in California mostly. We've had our fair share of fires in Wisconsin, especially in the forested areas.
Well, I would like to give a tip, if I can, to everybody listening in those 42 counties in the northern part of the state and the southern part of the state. Go out and rake the woods. I hear that will stop forest fires. If you go out and just rake, if you just rake.
That's right. That's right. When we lived at our house near Baraboo, we were not in city limits. We were in a township.
Oh.
And so everybody burned. Everybody burned. And it was maddening for me because I do have allergies. So there were days that it literally looked like we had a forest fire because everybody around us was burning something. Now, there were two frames of thought that I never understood when we lived out there, right? And if you want to burn, that's cool. If you're in a place where you can do it, you're not putting anything at danger, then that's cool. Two frames of thought that I never understood. One, the people who burn wet leaves. All that's going to do is smoke and smolder.
Yeah, why would you?
What are you doing? Like, why are you trying
It's like
this?
trying to burn wet wood. What are you up to?
No, we had all of those, so it was just smoke. It wasn't actually a fire. It was just smoke. It was stupid. And I was miserable, and I would actually have to leave home for the day because I couldn't breathe. There's also the second set of people that I also never understood, because the last summer we were there, it was a very dry summer. We'd gone probably 3-4 weeks without rain. It was very hot. It was very windy.
Would you call it a cruel summer?
It was a very cruel summer. But then there were also people outside burning then, too, as the winds are whipping at 40 miles per hour. I'm like, what are we doing? And being a weather family like we are, this drove my husband absolutely insane, because he's like, do you not understand how dry it is? How one spark at this point could take down this entire neighborhood because it was so dry and windy at that point. So I don't understand people who, if you want to burn, that's cool, but there are certain times that you should probably, and precautions you should probably take to make sure that you're doing it correctly, and maybe not in one of the 43 counties with burn bans right now.
I'm sure you know, if you're in one of those counties, you know where you live, and you know that there's no fires. So yes, no big fires, no burning things, but even no fire pits your tiki torches, anything that could fall over.
Right.
And smokers, this is a pet peeve of mine anyway, stop flicking your butts.
Right.
And I mean, Parker, cigarette butts, relax. He gives me that look every time. I make just fine statements, and he gets all nervous.
Can't say that, Brian.
I just did. I hate when listen, if you want to smoke,
cool.
Good luck to you.
Do your thing.
Yeah, I do things that are probably not good for me.
Right.
But stop with the just dropping your cigarette butts and flicking them. And I know this is an age-old problem since people have been smoking, but it is disgusting. And it's really dangerous. You flick that cigarette butt out your car window, poof.
And by the
Things
way,
are
in
getting
case
bad.
anybody's wondering, spring is actually the most critical time for fires in Wisconsin, because even when we have a few days between precipitation, that can dry out the grasses, pine needles, and all of the leaves. And obviously that just makes the conditions even worse. So be careful, be smart, listen to the DNR, please.
Next, you'll hear the news, and then we will give you more you need to know on the other side. This is Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson, 6:59 right now, and you are listening to the Civic Media Network.
Okie dokie.
5950, Parker.
I never understood people who burned wet leaves.
Yeah, the wet leaves doesn't make sense.
No, that
Like it would be like we'd have a day of rain, and then the very next day we'd have neighbors on both sides of us outside burning leaves.
I wanted to. We have so many trees, and so in the fall there were so many leaves, and I was like, it would be so much easier just to burn them, but then I looked it up and we could not burn them.
Yeah.
So.
And we we had across our yard, because we lived in a very forested area, developed, but a lot of land not developed. In fact, across the road from us was what they called a conservatory that will never be developed. Like you can't, nobody, it's grandfathered in land to the township. They won't be building anything on it. And so a lot of times what we would do is, because it was forest land, is we would get all of our leaves raked into a pile, and we had a lot of pine, so we didn't really have a lot of leaves. We'd get everything raked up, and then we would use our leaf blower, and we'd actually just blow it across the road, which is what most of our neighbors did. Because it's what we did out there.
Yeah.
It was better than burning it.
I picked everything up in the front, and then we have a very deep lot, and I just raked everything. Like even yesterday, all these big branches and stuff, I just took them to the back of the lot. I figured let nature do its thing with them, you know?
Yeah. And that was just the front of our house, and we had a very long driveway. So we'd get everything down there, and in the little row of trees between us and our neighbors, we'd do our side of it, and then we'd get everything across the street. And then in the back, we had a ton of, it was kind of like on a slope. But it was very forested, and we had a little path that went down to the lake that was all like stepping stones and things like that. But then we would take all of that stuff and push it back into the forest as well, because, after a winter, it all ground down, and then it just became more mulch basically for the forested area.
And that's why because we don't rake the forests.
Yeah, we had, oh my gosh, and we had wild turkeys out there that would be in our yard all the time, and we had coyotes, and in the winter I hated it. I absolutely hated it, because I'd go outside in the morning and I would see all of the footprints of things that walk through our yard at night, and I was like, oh, I don't want to know what could eat me.
Did you see, speaking of footprints, the story yesterday on the news about a grizzly bear attack in Yellowstone? And they showed the path, and they came upon, a Good Samaritan found the guy who had been attacked, but he's walking, and he was doing this on his own, walking down the path, and he's like, oh, look, these are grizzly bear paw. And you could see these giant paw prints in the mud of this trail. And then the bear had attacked 2 hikers.
We had bears out at our house.
Ugh. I love bears. I would not want to. Did you live on the Ark?
Did we?
Yeah. You had all the animals there, 2 by 2.
We did have a lot of animals. But we were on the water, and then it was very forested, so they had lots of coverage, right? And like one year, in fact, we had tons of ferns on our property. There were ferns everywhere, and I love ferns, so I was always very excited every spring. I don't know what marched through our yard one year, but all my ferns were trampled and dead. At one night, I woke up, and I was like, I don't know what that was. It looked like something had used it as bedding. Maybe one night. I have no idea what it was, but all of my ferns in like one swath going up the side of the house were completely dead, trampled. They were just laying flat. They'd been broken off. I don't know if it was deer. I didn't want to know. Corey always wanted to put a trail cam out there, and I was like, nope, no. Just no, because I want to be naive to what is actually living around me at night. And I know we had bobcats, because when the lake would freeze over in the winter, Aspie and I actually saw one walking across the frozen water one day. So we had bobcats out there. We did have bear tracks frequently. Trying to think of what else we had. Turkeys would cross our backyard constantly.
We always had the deer. Other side?
Yes. We always had deer running around our backyard. We had fox. We had coyotes. You could hear the wolves in the bluffs, because we weren't far from the the bluffs either. Yeah. So I love all
that stuff. I think it's because you're in I figure I'm in a house. They don't have thumbs. They can't work the locks. And I'll just, like even now, when
I
we
wouldn't
go
be
out at
surprised if we
night,
had a
I make sure
Bigfoot,
there's
though.
a lot of lights, and I make
Yeah.
because we hear all kind of things out there.
Yeah.
It's like,
The
all
only
right.
thing that always scared me is Aspen always went out at night and she wouldn't just go out on like a tie out. We had to actually walk her. And so that always kind of scared me because I never knew what was in our forest and you could hear stuff moving. And the thing that was creepiest is we had so much vegetation in the spring, you could actually hear it. And I'm not joking. If you went out there at night, it was so quiet, you could actually hear it like growing.
Oh,
And
geez.
you can ask Corey because you could hear it popping and you could hear all of like the stuff underneath the leaves and everything because there was so much vegetation. It was the creepiest sound ever until I realized what it was. Then it was cool because science, but at first I was like, what is that?
Science.
Well, there were exploding trees in Wisconsin last year. Do you remember that story? Did you guys talk about it?
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday. Hey, we've made it halfway through another work week. Just a couple more days. You got to hang in there. It's 7:06 right now. My name is Jamie Martinson.
I'm Brian Noonan. Glad you're here. I start thinking about the weekend on Monday at
Yes.
5:59. But that's just me. I have a poor work ethic, I guess. It is the top of the hour, and as always, you've had a little news before we came back, and now we have more you need to know.
It's a wake-up call in more ways than one. Time for some you need to know.
It's a sad case when trying to find news about the war is becoming harder and harder because major news organizations are like, we're never getting out of here. There's nothing new. But this is new. The president said late yesterday that he was pausing the military's new operation to clear a transit path through the Strait of Hormuz for commercial vessels, halting a mission that had only just begun, even as more than 1,500 commercial ships are still waiting to get through Iran's closure of the crucial waterway. Trump said the pause, quote, comes at the request of Pakistan and other countries and means that U.S. military operations, including using warships to clear a path through the strait, will be halted, quote, for a short period of time to see whether or not the peace agreement can be finalized and signed. I'll let you make the joke about how long it'll probably be, Jamie.
2 weeks.
Thank you. Trump wrote in his social media post all of that yesterday. That means that while the U.S. Navy will continue to stop ships that have entered Iranian ports, the air and sea-based operations to clear the strait for commercial vessels is now on hold. Both sides have exchanged fire in the past day over the strait. So, ceasefire? I don't think they know what that means. Trump's announcement followed two news conferences yesterday, one at the Pentagon and one at the White House, where the administration touted the effectiveness of the new military operation and strived to convince reporters that the new mission, dubbed Project Freedom, was working. I love that they had to strive to convince reporters. No, seriously, guys, it's working. We're doing great. Despite Iran firing missiles and drones at U.S. ships on the initial day of transit clearing and the U.S. destroying at least 6 Iranian fast boats in return. Earlier Tuesday, we talked about it a little as it was happening. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said that the U.S. mission to protect commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz would be temporary. Little did he know how temporary it was going to be, and that other nations would soon have to take responsibility. He also emphasized that the fragile ceasefire with Iran remained in place despite ship attacks. I would love to send a thesaurus and a dictionary, mostly a dictionary, to the administration. If you are still firing and they are still firing, that's not a ceasefire.
No.
That is a continue fire.
Which means that the
what do I
war
know?
is not actually ended. Like the president would like to tell us. I mean, this entire process, this entire event chain happened before Pete Hegseth could basically say the words, get off the stage, turn off the microphone, fold his pocket square, and
Right.
move on with his day. I mean, it was all so quick in what happened. It's just more of the same, right? It really truly is, because there is no. We've said it, and I don't want to keep beating the same drum,
No,
but
we have to.
We have to, right? There's no plan. There's absolutely no plan here
plan.
as to what is going to happen. There was no plan going in during the initial attack 2 months ago, and maybe even into the summer if you want to look a little further than that. And there's obviously no plan to get out of this. There is no diplomacy happening. There is no negotiation happening. Diplomacy is not a mean tweet. It is not a tweet of what you think is strength. That is not what this is. And if you're not sending anybody there to actually sit down face to face with officials, there's no plan.
There's no plan. The plan, now it's desperation mode because I'm going to try this. It didn't work. I'm going to try this. And even the most right-wing news media are starting to question. I don't know if you saw a Newsmax reporter yesterday asking Pete Hegseth why the president had capitulated. And man, oh man, Whiskey Pete got mad at that one. No, the president did not capitulate on anything. We are locked and loaded. He loves to use the catchphrase. Locked and loaded. He left out the 3-point stance, though. I like that one from the earlier press conference yesterday. But locked and loaded, and it's America first, and the president is great, and blah, blah, blah. And he tried to pull a Trump on the reporter. He goes, Jim, you started out great because, of course, the reporter gave a little smoochy to the hiney as he started his question and then asked about the capitulation. Oh, and you ended up right where we knew you would end up. Yeah, everybody's going to end up there, Pete, because we see it and we need to know. And you guys are flailing away trying to figure out what to do because you went in half-cocked, not locked and loaded, and you've just been cosplaying and letting a guy who has no military expertise whatsoever run roughshod over military experts in order to facilitate some sort of fever dream about a nuclear weapon that did not exist. And while we're all looking at, well, is oil the real deal? Of course, the real cause of this whole thing is oil. You try to disguise it with this nuclear weapon ridiculousness, and then you create the problem and blame somebody else and now can't fix it. The problem being the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which was wide open.
And in the meantime, while all of that's happening, everybody here in the United States, including in Wisconsin and across the globe, are feeling the ramifications of all of those decisions because prices just keep skyrocketing. Oil prices are going up, and there is absolutely no end in sight. And again, a reminder that even if this conflict were to end today, right? It's not, but if it were, hypothetically, those prices would not automatically just come down quickly.
Right.
And we're going to talk about it a little later this morning, but, you even look at things like travel plans for the summer. If you need to fly, good luck, book now, because it's pretty ridiculous. And we'll get into a little bit more of that this morning as far as how that's going to impact people who might have travel plans. But it's an across-the-board thing, all the way from what you're putting into your car, your gas you're putting into your car, to your oil, to your groceries, to your energy bills, and to all of the goods that you want to buy. And I just look at the prices aren't coming down. Every time I go to the store, everything is more expensive than it was the last time I went to the store.
But they claim it is, and now they're floating we're going to stop oil exports. They're floating that idea, which according to all industry experts is a horrible idea because while we do export a lot of oil, we also import a lot of oil. I wanted to say 16 million barrels or 60 million barrels a day, whatever it is. Everything is interconnected, everything. But he doesn't see those connections. He is impulsive and just makes a decision based on his gut, which we have seen over and over again. His gut, I think he needs to take some probiotics because his gut is not acting correctly. What other rest do we have to know, Jamie? There's got to be something.
There is some more. And now the Democrats want some conversations and some words of wisdom, apparently, from Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Oh.
Because they have asked him to publicly announce that Israel possesses nuclear weapons, arguing that Washington must end decades of ambiguity over the issue in the middle of this conflict with Iran. In a letter that they sent on Monday, 30 Democrats wrote that it was was unsustainable for Donald Trump to collaborate with the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, on a military campaign against Iran with the stated goal of preventing the country from obtaining a nuclear weapon without publicly acknowledging the U.S. allies' possession of a bomb. In this particular letter, it says, quote, "We are, in the fullest sense, fighting this war side by side with a country whose potential nuclear weapons program the United States government officially refuses to acknowledge." It goes on to say Congress has a constitutional responsibility to be fully informed about the nuclear balance in the Middle East, the risk of escalation by any party to this conflict, and the administration's planning and contingencies for such scenarios. We do not believe we have received that information. Now, in case you're wondering, Israel has never acknowledged its nuclear weapons programs, and no U.S. administration has publicly stated that it exists, despite considerable evidence that it actually does. The program traces its origins all the way back to the 1950s. It did have assistance from U.S. allies, including France and apartheid South Africa. U.S. presidents, though, have for decades avoided discussing the subject. Barack Obama responded to a reporter's question about it early in his presidency by saying he did not wish to speculate. Interesting.
Well, you're talking about Israel, the country that didn't cajole Donald Trump into starting a war of choice.
That's the one.
All
yes.
right. I'm just checking. Hey, look, something close to home. We talked about this yesterday under the guidelines of how test scores were not being changed by cell phone bans in schools. Well, yesterday, the Madison School District unveiled its proposal for a new cell phone policy at the school board meeting, and saying students could only use their phone during passing time, and at lunch periods, they recommended an all-day ban for grades K through 8. So a little leniency, like I said, when they're passing. But other than that, no. Some school board members expressed trepidation. I love when you express trepidation about a full-day ban for kindergarten kids. Don't need a phone.
No,
hard
you
stop,
taught second
period,
grade, right?
End of story. I taught everything from preschool to 5th.
Did they need phones in kindergarten and second grade?
They barely can wipe their nose in kindergarten, and I don't say that to be mean.
You're right, though.
It is, yes, they can't tie their shoes. They don't need a phone. Trust me, if your child is in danger at school, we will protect them. We will wrangle them. They will not stay quiet during I don't know what we call them now. I still call them, when I started, it was active shooter drills, but now, they'll be fine. So there was the district used to let principals just determine what they could do in their own schools. Now state law requires school boards to implement those district-wide policies, which is why you got the administration involved. The proposed policy would meet the law's requirements mandating that Wisconsin school districts limit students' cell phone usage during instructional time. Full ban for younger students would go further than the law's mandate. Again, I understand parents' worries. I don't think and I know you're going to say, well, there was a shooting at a school in Madison. I understand that. And so I don't take away from parents' worry. You know, if my daughter was still in school at this point, I would want her to have some sort of access to me. There has to be a way to figure it out, because as we talked about yesterday, studies have shown that while teachers love it because kids aren't distracted, it's not really having any effect on grades. It's not having test scores. Everybody's still fine. So, okay.
I think it's also important to point out that this is going to be a statewide law, but almost 90% of districts in Wisconsin already have some kind of phone restriction at the schools.
And just because it's law, how are they it's going to be up to each school to enforce it.
Yeah.
Each classroom teacher is going to have to enforce it.
Right.
They're going to have to be creative about how they enact this, whether it's you have to leave them in the locker or you have to drop them off.
And teachers are actually asking for that. They want more clarification on all of this and stricter policies. So, I don't know. They happen to be the ones with the kids all day. Give them what they want.
What they want is to be paid fairly.
Right.
But other than that, yes, let's take a break. Let's enjoy some fun.
Breather.
Frank is coming out of his sick bed to get us a little swipe or stay action next. It's Daybreak on the Civic Media Network.
Okay.
I am so hungry.
Are you
Okay,
really?
yeah. Right at the beginning of that segment, I almost got like lightheaded for a second.
I-
I was like, I need food.
I
What's
have
with
to,
you two?
Isn't
I
there
have to
anything in the
do-
break room anymore?
I have to do a blood test at 11, and it's a fasting one.
Oh.
And
sucks.
I can't eat until then, and I am so hungry.
I get that then.
Yeah.
And probably it doesn't help that they told you can't eat, so that's going to make
Right.
you even
Yeah.
hungrier.
Yes. And normally in the morning before I leave home, I usually do. I have like little egg cups that I make and keep them in the freezer. So I usually just pop one of those in and have a banana on my way here. But it's never anything huge, but it's at least something that I'm not
Something to-
starving.
Take the edge off.
Because as
Parker,
of right
don't
now,
they have any little bags of treats anymore? Or since
Yeah,
nobody actually works in the office?
Oh, there's all
No,
sorts.
I got
Megan went
stuff.
to Costco. There's all sorts of stuff in
Oh,
the cupboard
okay.
now.
Yeah. I'm going to get something on the next break.
Parker's
but no.
bored of those snacks. He wants to know what's new on the menu.
No,
Bagel
no,
sandwiches,
Frank.
a breakfast burrito. That would be.
I could live off of those fruit snacks forever.
Really. You are.
I bet you could.
You're
Yeah.
very young at heart.
The Welch's ones.
Uh-huh.
Those are so good.
They
Those
make
are
me
the
happy.
only ones my kids would eat when they were little.
I previously would get that literally every morning before
Yeah.
the show.
My kids were always like, that's the only thing that tastes like real fruit. The rest of them all taste weird.
Yeah.
Fair.
I never liked those kind of gummy things.
My
Really?
kids also really loved Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
Well, who doesn't love a good
Oh, come
Pop-Tart?
on.
You know, it's so funny when they were
Come on.
really little.
I
One of
love
them liked soft and one of them liked crunchy. So Max would pull his crust off and give it to Dexter, and Dexter would take his middle and give it to Max. They were
The whole
constantly
Pop Tart is.
Wait
I
a
mean,
minute.
the
That's-
crust is
Whoa.
very minimal.
Wait a minute. I thought you meant like toasted or untoasted.
No.
What?
I
They
feel like this is a very unfair trade.
Yeah, because
I think somebody got caught.
It's all middle.
Yes.
Basically.
One of them's
Yes.
getting the good stuff,
Right.
and the other one's getting.
Dexter didn't care. He loved the crunchy crust. He
You
did
gotta
care.
toast them though.
Dexter, you got swindled.
He didn't care. He
All
liked
right.
the crunchy crust, and his brother was handing him something, and he never shared with him. So-
Fair.
10 seconds.
Favorite Pop Tart quickly? Strawberry frosted.
Brown sugar.
Let's break out of the bubble and see what's happening out there in pop culture. It's Swipe or Stay on Daybreak.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. It is 7:22 right now, and it is time for Swipe or Stay.
Yay.
We love this part of the morning because we get to take a breather from the politics. We get to dive a little bit more into pop culture with our senior producer, Frank. How were you feeling today? You sound and look better.
I sound and look better, but I've developed a small cough, I've realized.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
So it's all
Okay.
right. I've got some
All right, we'll make it through. We'll get
got a
through.
hot cup of coffee. We're gonna get through this segment, everybody.
Here's a
It's
poor
gonna be
man's
fine.
cough remedy. Pop a Jolly Rancher between your cheek and gum and it'll just dissolve and it'll keep you
Yep.
keep you
Let
from
me
coughing.
ask you a follow-up question to that, Brian.
Yes, sir.
What grown man keeps Jolly Ranchers on handy?
A grown man who has been on the radio for a long time
Right.
and has had a cough and always has a Ziploc of Jolly Ranchers in his backpack.
There's always tricks
Just
for
All
in
right,
that,
pro
right?
tip.
There you
There's
go.
also tricks for that. I will also tell you that the throat sprays that you can actually like swallow, because there are some, and a little hot chocolate or something works like a charm if you're starting to lose your voice.
Or throat
Been there.
coat tea
Yes.
is another one.
Yep.
Throat
Yeah, I
coat
know
tea
about
is
that
the
one.
Yeah. But the Jolly
Yep.
Rancher works, man.
Yep.
And doesn't
It
give you that
does.
medicine-y taste of a
No.
cough drop.
No.
All right, good to
You could do
know.
the- you could do
I'd stay
butterscotch
on that one.
discs,
Don't
too.
swipe that one, Frank. Stay.
We're swiping on to Swipers Say. Here's how it's going to work if this is your first time listening to it. I'm going to read some vague pop culture headlines, and then Jamie and Brian will have to decide whether to swipe on to the next one or stay and hear more. Parker gets to be the tiebreaker if it comes down to it. Story number one. I'm very happy to talk about this one. I'm just laying the groundwork.
Is it Mike Vrabel?
No. The Toronto Maple
Are
Leafs.
you trying to persuade us?
Yes. The Toronto Maple Leafs leave the hockey world floored.
All right.
Wow.
Because you've been sick, I want to throw you a bone, and I will say stay.
Well, we don't get a lot of hockey stories
No.
now that the Olympics are over, so I'll stay too, Frank.
This is a juicy, controversial one, I promise.
Oh, all right.
The Maple Leafs may have the new title as the king of controversy in the sports world. I am crowning them. They just hired John Chayka as their new GM. Chayka was hired by the Coyotes in 2016 and was the youngest GM in the league at 26.
Wow.
A month after his resignation, the NHL sanctioned the Coyotes for illegal pre-draft testing for more than 20 Canadian Hockey League players, which violates the league's combined testing policy. And in 2021, Chayka was suspended for 1 year by the commissioner for conduct detrimental to the league and game.
Holy cow.
This is the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is like...
original
this is
six.
Toronto's NHL team. It's a huge deal. Here's where it gets really fun. Here was the introductory press conference.
Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun, for Keith. You talk about the due diligence that you did on John prior to hiring him and now hiring him. In the past, Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun, for Keith. You talk about the due diligence that you did on John prior to hiring him and now hiring him. In the past, say 3 to 4 days, I have been in contact with about 20 people who work in the National Hockey League, many of whom are prominent names that we would all know. And of the 20 people I spoke to, one was supportive of John's hiring and the other 19 thought it was a sham, to be perfectly honest. Words were used like con artist, liar, salesman. How did you come to a different conclusion that I was able to come to in a very short time?
I must have talked to different people.
Republic?
Holy
That's
smokes.
Because I'm telling you, the hockey world today is astounded by this announcement.
Okay.
And your response to that?
Is we've conducted due diligence, and it was deep due diligence. It was a thorough process, and I'm quite happy with where we've landed.
Wow.
That's it. Is my favorite response from a reporter of all time. I want to give this guy his due because that is how you should ask that question.
Wow.
Because it was a long wind up to that question. I was like,
there was a lot of research that went into this one.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
He
Holy
was ready.
buckets.
Well, we
All
must
right.
talk to different people. Okay. The hockey
That's
world's
it.
not that big. There's only so many teams with so many owners and GMs and everybody else. They're not.
I kind of wish White House reporters went in with that much gusto and with those types of questions. But
well, it's funny. In Canada, they treat hockey as important as more importantly than we treat talking to our president or the administration.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed.
So yes. And by the way,
yes,
just a day after this happened, the Maple Leafs just got the #1 pick in the draft lottery. So tell me that's not fishy.
Weird
How that happens. All right, we're going to move on to a non-sports story. School director in Arkansas arrested for organizing a club.
Oh.
It's Arkansas. I can only imagine. It's a cousin kissing club. What kind of club we got? I'm staying.
I'll stay. I think we need to know what kind of club it is.
It's not a cousin kissing club. Mary Tracy Morrison, the owner and director of the Delta Institute for the Developing Brain, was arrested for organizing a fight club amongst the students.
They're not supposed to talk
That's
about
right.
that, Frank.
I know, and they didn't. Video showed a gathering where a child was forced to sit on the floor in a circle of 18 other kids, including Morrison, overseeing it. And she told the other children to hit the child in the circle center with an unknown object and berated the victim while he was kicked by another student.
Whoa.
Wow.
She then high-fived that student after the beating and told the students to never talk about it because we don't talk about Fight Club, Brian.
Of course we don't. It's the
Oh
first
my
rule,
God.
Frank.
Morrison pled guilty to 1 count of permitting child abuse and 4 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a juvenile, according to local news outlets. A judge sentenced her to 30 days in jail, 120 days of house arrest with electronic monitoring, and 9 years of probation. Oh, and by the way, she can't work with children anymore.
Oh, really? You
Well,
think?
that's
Fight Club.
a shame.
Oh, my
Fight
God.
Club for kids.
Holy buckets. What?
Wow. All
Go
right.
ahead.
One more quick.
I've-
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, what ages are we talking about? Do we know?
I
know
don't
you
know
gotta
from
rap,
the
but-
story. I would assume all ages. We've got
I'm hoping
20
it's real
seconds.
little kids. That would be funnier. Just tiny toddlers. A toddler fight club. Frank, you brought the heat today.
I did.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
When we come back, have increased airline fares because of the gas changed your travel plans for the summer? It's Daybreak on the Civic Media Network.
Those were two bonker stories today. My gosh.
That press conference may be my. I know I keep saying that. It's my favorite headliner story.
Wow.
Outside of the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini thing, that's number 2. Because I know how absolutely pissed off everybody in Toronto is. Like, the Maple Leafs are like, their pride and joy of the entire country.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an original 6.
And they haven't
they're
won
the
since
guys.
like the 60s.
Nope.
And they've been close. And then you hired a dude. Oh, and one more thing about that story. That same reporter dug around from his time in Phoenix, and apparently he would keep screens of data up in his office, like 6 screens of data, and all of it was fake. And it was just to make it seem like he was working really hard.
How did he at 26? How did he get a job in the first place?
He's a con artist, Brian.
I guess.
He conned the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're not talking about the Utah Mammoth.
Hey.
We're talking...
Hey, that's my
Parker's
team.
And if your team...
I'm a big Stormin' Mormon guy, all right?
If your team went out and hired some 26-year-old to make a splash hire and high risk, high reward, everyone would go, yeah, sure, why not? Roll the dice a little bit. You're new.
Yeah.
You're not the Toronto Maple Leafs, where the Hockey Hall of Fame is down the street.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that was a good story.
Those were
That's
good
it.
stories.
And it's funny because neither. I guess you could say the hockey one is entertainment adjacent, but a kid fight club.
Yeah.
Kid Fight Club's good.
Mark
it's
from Prairie
great.
to Sac. Mark from Prairie to Sac, was she a Trump voter? It's Arkansas, so there's a
think
good
it's
chance
just-
she
yeah.
was.
She actually tried the Cousin Kissing Club, and it didn't get any members, so that was.
Tyler from Columbia County, he was talking about the cell phone issue. He said the problem with it is the enforcement. Well, behave kids, just leave it in their pocket, leave it alone. If enforcement takes too much class time, teachers won't do anything about it. Add all of the new laws they face and questionable school board policies. I don't blame them.
Well, here's a little breaking news.
Teachers have a lot.
This just
Anyway,
coming out of the AP. Trump has threatened Iran again with more bombing. He posted on social media that the war with Iran would soon end and oil and natural gas shipments would restart. It all depends on Iran accepting a reported agreement. And the quote is, if they don't agree, the bombing starts. So there we go.
Ceasefire is going very well.
Very well indeed.
Very well.
Indeed. It's like I had this problem this morning. There was another story that infuriated me about the administration. I'm like, we can't chase every infuriating story, right? It's
Right.
Because
Everything they do is infuriating.
right, and it all comes back to the same thing: enriching the richest people.
Did you get your fruit snack?
Yeah, I can hear the crinkling of the bag.
Oh, we got popcorners.
I haven't had these yet.
They're good.
That's what they tell me. God forbid the lights turn on when you flick the
I
light
don't know
switch
what
on.
the hell is with those lights. I don't know why there's a light switch there. I don't know why there's a light switch that then are motion controlled, but they don't turn on until you go like this under the cabinets.
I know.
Oh, God.
I literally stood there going like this. Hello.
Well, you get your calisthenics in. Old
trying to
school
get
jumping
some food.
jacks.
Kind of wish I would have known you were about to do that. I would have rolled some tape.
Yeah, we need more content. We need behind the scenes
We
content.
do. I was just told the other day.
Who told you that?
Aaron.
We can pull from that. It's on YouTube. We can go and clip it.
We need to do more stuff about our daily lives and the stuff that we do, the cool stuff, not everything. We don't need, a video
This is
blog.
me sitting down. Hey, I pet my
Wanna
dogs
watch this
today.
hockey game with me?
We don't need a video blog, but if we go do cool stuff in our area and things. little vids that we can throw up on the page.
Does this count? I'm going to a beer thing on Friday.
Yeah,
Big
absolutely.
Kickoff of the Illinois Craft Beer Week.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that shows who we are, what we're doing, that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's fine. Because remind me, I have a tech question.
10 seconds. Oh, okay.
Remind me, Parker.
All facts, no fiction. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:35 right now. We hope that you are having a great start to your morning. If you're in La Crosse, listening on WLCX, or in Hayward on WBZH, or in Appleton and Oshkosh, listening on WISS, we're glad that you decided to join us this morning. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. Have increased airfares due to the cost of jet fuel made you reconsider your travel plans? We want to hear from you, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Yes, we've talked about this. We all know gas prices. I'm dreading I have to get gas today, and I am dreading it. I've taken out a second mortgage on the house. I actually sold a kidney because I'm down low. I have to fill up today. So we know that. We know diesel.
I'm feeling every bit of this story that we're about to talk to with air travel, and we'll get into it in a little bit.
Yes,
but, yeah.
Yes. So we all know that diesel fuel has gone up because the cost of our groceries being trucked to us is costing more. Well, it's also affecting jet fuels. Delta Airlines is changing what passengers can expect on shorter flights. They announced on May 19th. Wait. They announced that starting May 19th.
Yes.
I go, wait, are they announcing things in the future? No. Starting May 19th, economy travelers aren't going to receive snacks or drinks for flights under 350 miles. The airline says the move is about creating a more consistent experience, but this is different. They are cost cutting because it's costing them more. But jet fuel prices have roughly doubled this year. It's tied in part to global tensions. You know all this. Fuel is one of the largest expenses airlines face, second only to labor, and companies are looking for ways to manage those costs. So if you've tried to buy a plane ticket, good luck. You don't get value flights anymore. You know, that was one of the reasons, other than bad management, that Spirit shut down because they couldn't afford to buy fuel anymore.
Well, as it turns out, that Spirit closure, if you're looking for plane tickets right now, is creating all sorts of havoc across the board. I'll be gone next week because we have to do some traveling for work. And it turns out that as we've been trying to get these meetings planned and figure out the itinerary, we weren't actually able to book our tickets because nothing was finalized until yesterday by noon.
Oh, you're going to get a good price.
Oh, let me tell you, if we want, and we have to travel to the East Coast. So we are talking thousands of dollars to make a flight across from the Midwest
halfway
to the
across.
East Coast. Yes. And so at this point, when I went to bed last night, my husband was looking at the plane tickets, and I think we were flying on Sun Country because they were the only thing that was actually normal and affordable. Yes, Parker, Sun Country, it's an airline.
Where do you have to?
Sounds like you'll be in one of the, what are they called?
Turboprop?
It sounds like you're going to be at a prop plane, is what it sounds like.
The planes looked like it, and in fact, but it's so funny because my husband's a taller guy too, right? I mean,
he's
Brian,
screwed.
you understand this.
I understand.
And in Sun Country, on a normal standard seat, you only have 28 inches of leg room. That is not nearly enough.
Wow.
So we had to upgrade, and this is not a knock on Sun Country.
Yes,
we had to. I mean, airlines suck. This is why flying sucks. We had to upgrade to their best bundle so that he could get 34 inches of leg room, and the poor guy could feel his legs when he stands up when we actually land. Now,
Can I ask how much more what else comes in this best bundle? Because I can only imagine.
Well, we would have gotten a checked bag if we would have needed it. That would have been included. We wouldn't have had to pay the $45 for a checked bag, so that's good. But we don't need a checked bag because it's a very
I'd take
quick
one
trip.
anyway.
I know. That's what I said to him. I said, I kind of feel like if you have to take a sports coat, like your sports coat just lives in a checked bag.
Yeah, bring us back some Boston cream pies or something in that.
Right.
Take an emptied bag with you,
right,
and bring it back full of treats.
Unfortunately, we have to do more traveling once we get back, so I have like no way to take care of anything.
All right.
As it is, we also have to drive to Minneapolis, and there's 2 reasons for that, because part of the trip will end in Minneapolis, but that's the only place where there's an actual direct flight to get to Boston.
I was going to ask how many stops you had to make on Sun Country. Well, we're going to Anchorage, then we're going to Albuquerque, then we're flying over.
Sun Country was the only one we could find that was actually going to be nonstop, that we weren't going to be paying over $1,000 for. It is absolutely incredible. Like we were sitting there last night, and I was like, well, how important is it that I'm there?
Yeah, really.
I think we managed to find.
Listen, I hear this company's hurting for cash. I don't know if we need to be throwing around these big-time plane tickets.
I believe we're probably doing our own plane tickets for this particular trip.
Yeah.
So it's just, but it tells you where we're at, right? It tells you where we're at for travel. And every time we were looking at all of the different airline companies, they were giving us dates in July or August. Basically, why are you so stupid trying to book anything now is what they were telling us as we were opening their pages.
Last minute travel does not.
That's never cheap.
It's never cheap, and
it's
you
ridiculous.
know this, and you have to. I mean, this thing came up. You got to go, but it's and now services are being cut because of the costs. Every little thing is getting nickeled and dimed. I can't imagine any time in the near future that I want to fly anywhere. I don't want to go near an airport. Because it infuriates me. Where it's like, now we have to pay you for a bag. Now we have to pay you for a bag of peanuts. If I don't want to stand up like I'm on the subway, I have to pay you extra for a seat that's actually not even comfortable, but at least manageable for somebody over 6 feet tall.
Right.
The whole thing is, we used to joke about people taking the bus, that it was such a low rent way to travel. Man, it's airfare and the bus are the same. And I'm talking a bus like in South America with the chickens on the top. I'm talking that kind of bus. A school bus, not even a tour bus.
With gas prices, bus travel is going to seem like a luxury now too. Honestly,
driving to the grocery store is seeming like a luxury. I'm doing everything. This is playing into one of my desires, though. I have a reason not to leave the house now.
Right?
Do you know how expensive it is to drive? I don't have to leave.
And it's funny because we've talked about this. I do a lot of grocery items, and even that is getting so expensive because the drivers have to make up the gas price difference.
So how have you seen an increase in that? Because you got to figure with Uber and everything else.
So I just put in a standard order of our normal staples last week, and about 3 months ago, that normal staple of goods would have cost me probably about $150, and that was with tip, that was with the delivery fee, all of that, right? The other day I paid $207. Wow.
Now, see, I know you do it because of time constraints, which makes sense, but at some point, people have to look at this and go, all right, and I know there's people with mobility issues. I know there's a lot of reasons people use grocery delivery. But when I hear that and I go, all right, I got a tip, which of course you should tip the driver. I got to pay the delivery fee, which is probably going up because the company sees that, but I don't know how much the driver is actually getting.
Right.
So now am I going to be a good guy and maybe tip a little more because I know the driver has to pay more for gas? I'm like, there's got to be I'll bite the bullet and I'll drive to the grocery store and do that.
Right.
Because I have the ability to drive to the grocery store. There's a lot of people who don't.
I do. There are certain days when I'll look at my schedule and I'll look at the refrigerator and I'm like, those two things are not meshing well today. So I'll do grocery delivery, or I'll do a shop and I'll go pick up if I have to. But it is, I mean, I think we're going to see this in multiple different phases as we go. And one of the things, I do want to say too, if you do want to travel by air or you need to for any reason, what I thought was also fascinating last night is trying to get to Sun Country site, because they are basically the step up from Spirit, and Spirit was the budget airline.
Yeah.
And now everybody's looking for budget airlines. Website just completely, and again, not their fault. It's just the ramifications of where things are at. Completely bogged down. Took almost 4 minutes for the page to even load.
Oh, no.
It was like, oh my gosh. And we live in this time where everything is fast and you want instant gratification. I'm like, what do we live in, a third world country? Why won't this load? It is crazy. So if you have to do any travel, I would definitely recommend at this stage making the plans now if you can. Even if you think that you want to travel in July or August for a family vacation, I would at least start looking at things now, even if you can't 100% commit. And watch. I mean, there's certain times of the year when you're supposed to book your travel so that it's cheaper. Are we going to see that again?
I don't know. And they used to say certain days of the week and times of day, and don't go on. If you look at a flight and then you leave to check it against something else, close your browser because it remembers and it raises up. There's all these. Why not just everything else in our lives costs what it costs for the most part? Mm-hmm. Cars and flights. That's where suddenly we gotta haggle. We gotta go searching. What's a flight from Madison to Boston cost? That's what it should cost.
Right.
If I'm flying wherever I'm flying, it should cost this. I shouldn't go, oh no. And I get it, the demand at certain times of day and all. I know all the arguments, but stop. My
favorite part of last night when we were looking at flights, and I can't remember what airline it was. It was one of the bigger ones, your Delta, Southwest, United, American. And I looked at it because my husband is also not a very early riser. So we have to really, if they're going to ask him to be at the airport before 7 a.m., it's probably just a flat no. So it gets a little precarious, right?
Oh, see, that you got to, he's got to stay up all night then. And
exactly.
Just go to the airport.
I looked at it and I'm
sometimes
like,
you got to be uncomfortable.
All I looked at was the departing flight from Minneapolis, and it said we would leave at 10:30 in the morning. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. He's like, oh, that's good. Then I looked at when we actually got to Boston. It was going to be at 4 a.m. the following day because there was a 12-and-a-half-hour layover in Denver.
You're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way.
Yes.
No. We have allowed airlines to become robber barons. This is it's the most ridiculous thing. I miss the old Southwest. I even miss having to run and get in line like cattle
to get my seat.
To try to, I don't care. It was cheap and they were always on time. They always landed. The flight attendants were good for a laugh, even an ironic laugh. You got the peanuts. It was a whole thing. I don't know if you remember an airline, Jamie, ATA.
Yes, I remember ATA. Long ago, yeah.
Because on ATA, you're on vacation. Yep. And man, we flew out anytime we had to fly to the West Coast when I was flying out there for work or whatever. It was great because you got a meal. You got cheap airfare. It was direct flight to LAX. It was like 3.5, 4 hours. It was wonderful. And then they went under.
No.
And then Southwest decided they were becoming the target of the air and tried to out fancy themselves.
Right.
Made themselves a little too highfalutin for me.
Right. And this is why I don't actually mind flying on Sun Country. We've done it before. Their budget, it's flying. You're not going to be comfortable. And by the way, labor agreements and maintenance also causing the air travel fees to spike, along with the jet fuel.
Stay in your basement. Make an amusement park down there. Yes, when we come back, who's your most hated sports franchise, Parker? We'll ask that question and answer it on Daybreak. This is the Civic Media Network.
Okay.
Sage isn't picking up the picking up the tab for this?
No, we're going to do this one ourselves because we're going out. Actually, the meeting got moved to Tuesday fully, and we're going out on Sunday. We're going to fly out Sunday and then be in Boston on Monday. So we're going to pay for this one ourselves because we're taking an extra day on this one.
Okay. Well, please come to Boston for the springtime.
So Corey's like, we're going to have to fly on Mother's Day. How bad does that suck? I said, well, I hate you.
But you knew that already.
But I knew that. We were going to try to fly on Saturday, but that's just not working. We'll probably drive to Minneapolis on Saturday, be in Minneapolis Saturday night, go to dinner with some really great friends. And then we'll fly out Sunday, and then we'll probably be in Boston on Monday, and then meetings Tuesday. And then meetings on Tuesday start at like 10 a.m., and then we actually have to fly out of Boston yet Tuesday night to be in Minneapolis for the start of the convention on Wednesday.
What convention?
That's the Big Deals one. So we have to be there for that. Deals. Yeah. So we have to be there for that, and that starts at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. Jeez. So we're hoping that there's no travel issues. Their weather.
Well, yeah, going out that 14-hour flight going to Denver. You mean where they're getting 20 inches of snow? That sounds good.
I said to Corey, we're going backwards. I said, you might as well send me to LAX and then back to Boston at this point. What are we doing?
These routings on these flights are ridiculous. Make him buy you a nice lobster dinner when you get off the plane Sunday.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know what we're gonna. I don't know what we're gonna do. But I had to go to bed, so I said, you just book whatever works, and I said, you let me know what my boarding sitch is, and I'll be ready to roll.
Well, that's awful.
It was
awful.
I said to him, after this, I'm done. I'm like, this is my fill of airplanes for a really long time. Man, I hate air travel as it is.
I would love to go to Boston. I wanted to go to like all the old cities in the U.S.
Yeah. It's been a while since
I've been to Boston since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, so since we're going out a couple days early, we're going to do this one ourselves. And
yikes.
Have some fun.
Tell me what that's like. Oh, here's a tech question. And you can answer it after because I know we're going to get to 30 seconds. Do you have a recommendation on lavaliers for a cell phone? You know, the Bluetooth lavaliers.
15 seconds.
You can tell us during the news. It was a tease, Parker. I was teasing.
10 seconds.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:52 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. All right, let's go. Your most hated sports franchise, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. And Packer fans, you are not going to be happy with this. Take two. RotoWire. They are a fantasy sports news, advice, and analysis company in Madison. Contends the Packers are the most hated NFL team. An honor they share with the New York Jets and the Las Vegas Raiders. Your first impressions, Jamie and Parker.
None of those are the right answer.
I don't understand.
Why?
Okay. Here's what
I get the Packers.
I was going to say, I get the Packers. Because, first of all, Packers fans, I'm sorry, I'm one too. We're whiny. We really, truly are. We have a lot of accolades. We've had really great quarterbacks over the years. We still whine, and I get it. The Jets and the Raiders, I mean, I get it. I get that you're the Jets and the Raiders and you're fans of those teams, and that must be a really hard way of living. I mean, you're a Bears fan, Brian. Yeah. You probably are. I mean, even the Bears at this point are on an upward trajectory.
Yes, they are.
Right? And which I hate as a Packers fan. Parker, I'm sure you agree.
Mm-hmm.
But Jets and Raiders fans, I mean, come on.
Well, Here is it's not the fans, it's the team. So
It
I
is.
will clarify. Green Bay, according to RotoWire, is the most hated team in 6 states. I bet you can figure out which ones. Illinois, home of the Bears. Michigan, home of the Lions. Minnesota, home of the Vikings. Iowa, home of Chuck Grassley. I don't know why he has such a lot of problems with the Packers.
Vikings and Bears
And then
fans.
Jamie, North and South Dakota.
Vikings fans.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Because
Part of-
South Dakotans are Vikings fans.
Yeah.
Now you can take this as Packers fans as kind of a little bit of a badge of honor because RotoWire says it's because success is a main part. Now, not for the other 2 teams, not for the Jets and the Raiders, but the Packers are the 3rd most successful team in this century after New England and Pittsburgh. So people they hate us because they ain't us might play into this too. So it's not
There we
all
go.
bad news. But
All right. I can
on the
get with
flip
that.
side, Lambeau voted one of the most comfortable stadiums in the league.
No.
I knew that you wouldn't like that. Yeah.
No.
Yes,
it's
the
not.
most comfortable stadium in North America. It's tied with Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, which I got to say, now I've said I haven't been to Lambeau, and that's something I'm going to remedy this year. But I have been to Lucas Oil, and it's sweet.
No, Lucas Oil is like a luxury destination. Now, here's what I'm going to say.
I knew
Lambeau
Frank
Field,
would get drawn into this.
I
Lambeau
am.
Field is an amazing place to visit. I don't care what team you root for. There is an aura
It's
of
history,
football.
yeah.
When you get there, it is so much fun, and the staff and the volunteers make it an experience because, let's also be honest, Lambeau Field is a major part of Green Bay's economy, so they want to treat everybody really well when they get there. And that's the one part about fans, I think, from other teams that are always surprised. No matter what the team is, they're like, these people are so nice. It's that Midwest nice thing. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. I'm sorry. You're sitting on metal bleachers, and I know that's part of the mystique. I know it also means that you can get more butts in the seats. Maybe. I don't understand how that works.
Well-
because you're really squished like a sardine can. It's not
Let me give you how they judged it, Jamie. They used an uncomfortability score based on language used in more than 100,000 Google reviews, tracking terms like crowded, cold, long lines, and overpriced to measure fan experience across 101 professional sports venue. Lambeau had the fewest complaints, including in regard for crowding, seating, and amenities. Take that, all the people like Jamie who hate the metal bleachers. Because Jamie's bougie,
Because you
she
know
sits
what
in
it
the box.
is.
I'm
know what you're
old.
getting yourself into.
Right, so
Yeah.
why complain?
Like you
So
walk
us-
when you walk up to Soldier Field, one of the worst stadiums in the world.
Yes.
That's why you're
You're-
going to be in Indiana pretty soon.
Correct. And you look on the outside and you're like, wow, that place kind of looks cool and updated. And then you get
No, it
inside and you're
doesn't
like,
look
oh
cool
my
and
God,
updated.
this sucks.
No.
Looks like they dropped a coffee filter into an old stadium.
But the
looks like a
exterior
toilet
of the stadium is very
Yeah.
well kept.
Yeah.
It's well kept, but it still
Well.
looks stupid. I've thought it looked stupid from
Well,
the
the
minute they
design,
opened it.
the design's stupid, yes, but it looks modern and updated from the outside. But the inside is
until you walk
trash.
through the facade into that
Correct.
the coffee filter, and then you're like,
Correct.
this is awful.
May I throw out
Go
here?
ahead.
You may.
Didn't Soldier Field used to be like a historic landmark, and then they renovated and ruined it?
is a
and it's
historic
no
It still
longer-
is because they
Is it
didn't.
still?
They did well. No, did they strip it because they
thought they
left the
stripped it.
facade. They left the outside. I think they stripped it because of the.
When they move to Indiana, is it just going to be a giant pit of a hole there, or are they
No,
going
it's
to
gonna
leave the
be top-
stadium? Or?
It's
You're
going to be
moving to
corn.
Arlington Heights, Jamie. You're not
Says
moving
who?
to Indiana.
Says who? I don't believe
Says
it.
me.
They're
Anyway.
going to change the colors to red for MAGA because it's in Indiana.
Oh,
the whole
brother,
thing.
here
No
we
more
go.
Blue and orange.
You
It's gonna
got them
be-
going.
I will
just
say that
horrifying.
if you are somebody who can get like the actual seats with backs when you go to Lambeau, then yes, it's a much different experience. I don't know. Bleachers are just hard. I'm old. I'm super old, and then I end up
I do like a
standing through.
back.
I do. That's just it. And then and then you end up standing for most of the game. And let's be realistic. We have some Packers fans. We've got some old-time ticket holders, and kudos to you that actually get mad at people when they stand at the game. It's a thing. It's actually a thing.
For
They don't want people cheering. They don't want people standing. They get very mad at you when
you cheer.
That's not a good thing at all.
You should want people up and screaming.
Why do you think there is such a crowd issue at Lambeau where Coach LaFleur even has to say, please cheer for your team, be quiet on offense, cheer on defense, because this is actually a thing that happens at Lambeau.
Wow. All right, well, listen, there it is. It's on the surface, again, sounds bad. Oh, the most hated. Why are they hated? Because they're successful. And Lambeau, the most comfortable professional, despite Jamie's protestation.
Beautiful, amazing, historic.
Very comfortable.
Not comfortable.
Very comfortable. More news and stuff you need to know when we come back. It's Daybreak on the Civic Media Network.
What the hell was that?
Go you Packers, go,
what it
go.
was.
That's a great song.
By the Weezerheimers.
That's right. Roger at Stevens Point says the Yankees were his most hated team for years.
Yep.
Now it's the Dodgers and Cowboys. Stu in Jefferson says Soldier Field. You paint a turd, it's still a turd.
Wow. I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Why do we hate the Cowboys?
Because
because
of the
Jerry
media
Jones.
attention.
America's
I know,
team.
okay.
They're not American.
Okay.
Jerry
So
Jones.
they left the
haven't
roof
done
open so
anything.
God could watch his team play. Shut up.
Right?
Is that really what he said?
Yes.
That is a quote.
Yes.
Okay.
They don't.
Jerry-
Exactly, Parker. They have not done anything, and yet the
Right.
media attention that they get
Yeah.
is astronomical.
Jerry World
Jones
is pretty cool, though.
It's a circus.
It is.
It's really
Jerry
cool.
Jones is like a little troll. He just is.
You should run for Congress.
Oh.
Don't say that.
Don't.
put that in the
Him
uniform.
and
We should be
Robert-
president.
I mean, it's already
doing?
bad enough that we've got Woody Johnson from the Jets as an ambassador.
Oh, I forgot
brother.
about that. Also, can we go back to Jets Raiders? How old do you need to be to hate the Jets and the Raiders?
I'll be right back.
I think the Jets
20.
are mostly hated by their own fans.
Of course.
Probably, yeah.
Rodgers didn't help that. Now the
No.
Pittsburgh Steelers hate Aaron Rodgers too.
But they still have him.
For now.
You got him.
Maybe when he decides.
Parker, who's missing off this list of most hated? Who would you put in there? Give me your Mount Rushmore. What is the Mount Rushmore of producer Parker's most hated teams?
In major sports,
You can put. I'll allow college in there as well.
okay, will you allow Division III college?
No,
Okay, that's what I thought.
There's a
you have
lot
to
of
be able to
rules.
earn an athletic scholarship to be included on this Mount Rushmore.
Okay, so not D3.
So many rules.
Dodgers are
It's a
up
rule.
there.
Okay.
Bears, sorry.
No, if it wasn't
It's a
on there,
rivalry.
I'd
Yeah.
be concerned.
Yeah. Bears, Dodgers, Cubs,
Okay.
sorry.
That's fine.
Do I want to put Patriots?
Oh yeah.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Patriots are awful.
Would they have 3 years of downtime and then back to a Super Bowl?
Yeah. And for the record, for Division III, Mount Union 4 times.
Really?
Yes. Hate Mount Union.
That's the big
Interesting.
rivalry? I thought it'd be like a in-state thing.
So Mount Union is the team that Whitewater played in every single national title game in football.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we beat them 6 times, and I think we lost 3 of them. 2 of them. But they have a philosophy of championship or bust, and there is absolutely zero in between. Lance Leipold was the Whitewater head football coach, and he's the head coach at Kansas now.
Mm-hmm.
He was on a podcast a couple of years ago, and he was telling a story about how I think like one of his strength and conditioning guys is a Mount Union guy. And the Mount Union guy is like, yeah, man, we hated that we lost to you. We took our second place trophies and had a bonfire with them.
Holy
Oh.
Like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, And
Good rivalry.
And then Leopold, the Whitewater coach, goes, "Damn, must have been a pretty big fire."
That's
I
great.
also love the U of M
U of M,
rivalry with the axe and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, when you say UM, you mean Minnesota?
University of Minnesota.
Yeah, that took me a second too. I thought you meant
no, University of Minnesota.
Milwaukee.
It's an axe that they battle
Paul
for every year.
No, yeah, Paul Bunyan's
axe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, would you like to know the story of? Here's a fun fact for both of you. Baraboo and Reedsburg had a vicious rivalry as far as high school sports, and every year they played for the old brown jug.
Oh, okay.
Taking a page out of Michigan, Minnesota.
I like it.
Instead of the little brown jug.
Even beyond that one. This one went back to the 1800s.
Really?
Yes.
No
Late
kidding.
1800s, early 1900s.
Wow.
It's an old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
There's
Lord.
a couple of D3 ones that are probably close to that old, but I'm not sure. That's probably older.
Brian.
2 high schools.
Yes.
Real quick, what's your Mount Rushmore of hated teams?
Mount Rushmore of hated teams. Yankees. Let me think. Does it have to be pro or can it be
You can put college in there as
All
long
right.
as it's major college.
Miami?
Parker. Catholics versus convicts.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just going all the way back there. So Yankees, Miami. Hate. Who do I hate? I hate the Red Wings, and I don't want to say the Packers.
It's okay.
I
Just
said
say
Bears.
it.
Well,
It's-
I'm going to say the Cubs. What am I thinking? It's Cubs.
How do you not have the Packers on there?
Because it's hard to hate a team that just owns you. It's like they just
year.
own you.
Not this
15
year.
seconds.
Not this
What are you
year.
talking about? How many
Not
seconds?
This year.
10 seconds. Ooh.
Not this
the-
year. No, I don't hate the Packers.
I do.
I mostly look at fans when I hate teams.
True.
It's their
From Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, this is Wisconsin's Morning Conversation. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
We hope that you're having a great Wednesday so far. It is 6 minutes after 8 right now. You're listening to the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. The debate over our last topic continued off the air, and I had to run downstairs because talk about weird timing. I ran downstairs to feed the dog, and the doorbell rang. And I don't even sometimes remember we have a doorbell because nobody comes to our house, which is perfect. But if you hear any, they're doing some work outside my house. And they showed up now, and I was like, "Are you guys going to be using any power tools and stuff?" And the guy's like, "No, just shovels." I'm like, "Okay." And then it's always hard to say, "Well, because I'm on the air upstairs," and they look at me like, "What are you, a gamer?" No. But the debate over the most hated team continues,
Yes.
and Frank is very disgusted with me. Here's the bottom line: I enjoy watching sports. I'm not that invested. I don't have the time. I hate so many other things in my life. Hating sports is way down the list of things that I'm going to hate, that I'm going to invest. I only have so much hate to give. A lot of people say they only have so much love to give. I only have so much hate to give. And I'm really at the bottom of my hate barrel when it comes to
I have a hard
sports.
time hating good rivalries, good historic rivalries too, right?
I hate
I really do.
fans, not
Yes.
teams.
Yes.
I hate fan bases. That's where my hate comes in.
The debate.
Let me jump in real quick.
Oh, here's Frank. He's coming
Okay,
to
go
chastise
ahead.
me.
So if
I
we're
take
doing
my
this.
man card.
We're doing this.
I
We're doing
get
this.
Forget
You're the
stuff you need to
producer,
know. We're
Frank.
doing
Okay,
this.
we're doing
I
this.
get the argument, and I asked Brian what his Mount Rushmore, so his top 4 most hated teams are. Now, I get the storied rivalry thing. As a Michigan fan, I do not put Ohio State as my top 4 most hated because I respect what they do over there because they run a great program and their facilities are nice, and I don't hate them. However, I do hate Michigan State because I sat in a parking lot for 2.5 hours because they don't know how to direct traffic and they have a little brother syndrome.
All right.
That's
There are
legit.
reasons. There
Fair,
are layers
fair,
to the
fair.
hatred,
Of
which is
course,
why I
of course.
asked. You saying you don't hate the Packers as a Bears fan because they own us
They did. Pat
is
Frank,
all the reason to hate them. They had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in a row.
again, why am I
The
going to
Bears
waste
can't have one.
Why am I going to waste my time and effort hating a team that just there's no? You know who I hated in that? I hated the McCaskies during that. I
Well,
didn't hate
of
the
course.
Packers. It's not their fault that they're good. It's our fault that we sucked. That's
Do you know
why.
what I love about this? Parker and I don't have to say a word.
Nah, I'm just saying, ooh, disagreement within the Bears fans. I like it.
Yeah, well, come on. I mean, yes, I didn't like that. I didn't like the Packers. Hate is strong. I didn't like it because they came in and until this year they just dominated the Bears. Yeah. I loved the old rivalry, but then the rivalry didn't even matter to the teams. So I'm like, if it doesn't matter to the teams,
They do now.
But why should I waste, I'm watching the games. I'm cheering for the Bears. I'm excited about the game. I don't have to hate the other team.
You're not rooting
root
against the
team.
Packers?
I'm rooting for the Bears to win.
Hold on.
Other games.
Other games? You're not rooting against the Packers? You don't check to see if the Packers
Let me
lost
answer
that
the
day? Go ahead.
question. Chill out. Step back. It's the cold medication. I'm going to write your rudeness off to that, but I'm not going to put up with it forever. When it comes down to if the Packers lose, will the Bears make the playoffs? Then yes, I'm rooting against the Packers. If they're playing somebody who it doesn't matter, if it's not a divisional game, I don't care. I don't care.
Wow, that's wrong.
Well,
It's wrong. Thank you, Parker.
Yeah.
It's just wrong.
I'm not. Listen, I have other interests in my life, fellas. I got other things to do.
You don't.
I got a full life. I don't need to.
Oh, don't try to be holier than thou. You're bigger. You're better. You're the bigger man here.
I root hard for my teams. That doesn't. So I don't waste my energy on the other teams. And it's a lot of it is fan bases. That's why I picked some of the teams I picked in my 4 because of their fan bases. I haven't maybe because I haven't gone to a game at Lambeau. I see how Bears fans treat Packer fans, and I'm down for good-natured ribbings. I got harassed at a Vikings game because I had a Bears jersey on, so I don't care. I hope
I am harassed in that
I do
situation.
too. I would expect
up
nothing
to a
less.
line, right?
Right.
Up to a line.
Sure.
Let me tell you, as a Packers fan, going to a Minnesota Vikings game during Brett Favre's last year with the Vikings, we had beer dumped on us and rocks thrown at us waiting for the train to get back to our car.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah, that's too much. We had Brett Favre hanging in effigy off the van that we used to have for tailgates. It was painted on the back of the van. So,
Well, of course.
There you go.
As a Vikings fan who watched him for years, or as a Bears fan who watched him for years, I'm sure there
Dismantle
were.
us, yes.
Yeah, there were.
I guess it's hate. Like, hate to me is an active thing. I disliked when the Packers would come to town. I disliked that they did so well. Their fans didn't bother me because when the fans would talk smack, they deserved to be able to talk smack because they just kept
I agree.
smacking us around.
Packers
so
fans
I
don't
guess
allow to talk smack this season after the
hate takes too much energy. A healthy dislike, sure. Do I want them to succeed? Not over me, but if not over the Bears, but if the Bears are out, then I actually don't care, to be honest. I root in the World Series if I have a team in, or like when the Brewers lose, then I want the team that beat them to go on, just because, well, at least then we got beat by the team that wins it all. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we didn't get beat by a scrub who got swept immediately after they beat us, then they got swept. That shows we were off.
We have a call.
Let's go to the phones. We've got Troy
Go to the
calling
phones.
from
How
Mount
is this
Horeb.
happening? What's up, Troy?
You got to root against the Packers no matter who they're playing, because even if we beat the Raiders, we're still 1-0. And if you lose, then we're still ahead of you in the standings. So it doesn't matter who we're playing.
Right, rooting against is different. I guess I'm arguing semantics.
You said you didn't, though.
Hate is an active thing. Hate is something that takes a lot of effort.
I'm actually happy the Bears are getting better.
Yeah.
Because that makes the rivalry more fun.
Yes,
Yes,
agree.
more
I
fun.
agree with you, Troy. I 100% agree.
Frank is based in bitterness. Frank's life is built on grievance. That's how he goes through life. And to be honest, it's a little sad, Frank.
You know, we're only a couple months into the show, and you just got that.
No, I just voiced it. I just voiced it now. I've known for
Troy.
about 10 minutes
I'm happy that the Bears are doing
Troy.
better because I want us to hate each other.
Yeah.
Hate.
He dropped. Okay.
Reds, according to Mr. Plow King, Reds fans are jerks, but I don't care about the team. That's how I feel about the Cubs.
I agree. But Brian, would you ever root for the Cubs to win?
No.
Would you actively root against them?
I did not actively root against them when they were in the World Series because I have friends who are misguided Cubs fans. So I was happy for them because I remembered what it felt like when the Sox won the World Series. And so I was happy that my friends who have followed this worthless team through centuries of hard times got to experience some joy. No, I did not actively root against them. I actively root against them when they play the Sox. I actively root against them when they play the Brewers. I am secretly happy if I hear they're in a slump. So
that sounds like hatred to me.
Is it hatred?
Yeah.
All right, if that's your definition of hatred, well, that's why they were on my Mount Rushmore.
By sports standards, I think so.
All right.
You also said the Red Wings were on your Mount Rushmore of hated.
True, because the Red Wings for years came in and they were a big rival for the Blackhawks. I should have added the Detroit Pistons to that list.
Bad boys.
I'll take Miami off and I'll put the Detroit Pistons on there because I had an active hatred for them during the 90s.
I think that's legit, though.
Yeah,
during the 90s.
It's well deserved.
Yes.
Bill Laimbeer was a piece of garbage, and that whole team was a whiny bunch of babies. So I guess I did. Frank, I've evolved. That's the problem. I've evolved from my hate. Yes, thank you, Jamie. I've matured. I've evolved.
The main point, Parker, is that Brian is busy with other things, unlike us. Brian has a life. We don't.
I didn't listen. I don't invest. I don't invest in sports the way some people do. My brothers are just like you guys. They are, they're fixated on actively hating teams and doing all that. And if you ask my brothers, all four of the Mount Rushmore would have been the Packers. Like a different era of every era would have been represented on Mount Rushmore.
Bart Starr,
from Bart going all the way back.
Jordan Love, all those eras.
Vince Lombardi, garbage. Yeah, they would have put all that. I don't care that much.
When the games are over, I think I'm done. Right? Like you watch the games. If it was a bad game, you ruminate on it maybe for a little bit, and then I don't know. I end up getting distracted by something else.
I want my team to win.
My day.
I always want my team to win.
Ruins my day.
Ruins
might ruin a couple of days.
No.
Wow.
Depending on what it is.
Same way. I'm kind of the same way with the Brewers, but on a lesser extent because that's just too exhausting. It's only for the rest of the day I'm ruined.
Wow. Okay. All right.
You live and die by the team.
Jamie, I will forever be haunted of the vision of Aaron Rodgers running out of the locker room in 2018 after injuring his knee and leading the Packers to a comeback win over the Bears and Khalil Mack in that defense.
Gosh,
I'll never forget it.
Game.
That was 8 years ago.
I forgot about that game.
I didn't.
Yeah. It was
I never will. Because I was so angry.
No, it was a great game, but I forgot about that moment.
I think Bart Starr was at that game. I think they honored him during halftime.
He was.
I remember right. Yeah. I remember that game.
Yeah.
He actually played in that game.
That's how long ago it was.
Wow.
Is there anything we need to know?
Yeah, we're gonna have to get to it in the next segment because we somehow we turned into a sports show, which was great. Again, listen, if hate fuels you, God bless you. Go ahead. I love to root for my teams. I actually don't care about other teams.
Yeah.
So unless they're playing,
I care about your team, Brian.
I'm aware,
have to be bad.
But Parker, I'm aware. I'm aware of the other teams.
Wait a second.
Yes, Frank.
Wait a second.
Yes, Frank.
Jamie is a hater, low key.
Low key.
Jamie, what team do you hate?
Oh.
What team do
we
I
have not
hate?
asked Jamie, and
Yeah,
I know
that's
Jamie's
true.
a hater.
She skated away on this.
What team do I hate?
Do you hate the Vikings?
You've only had 45 minutes to formulate an
I
answer.
don't hate the Vikings. I hate the fans.
But
the
in
fans
turn,
make it
do you hate the
miserable.
Vikings?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's a rivalry.
The Vikings are just annoying.
It's not as big of a rivalry as the fans think it is. It's not like the Packers and the Bears, right? But Minnesota fans want to make it this massive deal because Brett Favre played for them for like 3 days.
Right, for a cup of coffee.
I mean, honestly, and it's not as big of a deal as they make it out to be, at least not to Packers fans. But that would be the closest I have to hating a team. But it's mostly how the fans.
What about the
make
Bears,
it a
Jamie?
thing.
How do you feel about the Bears?
I love the rivalry between. I have mad respect.
How do you
for
feel
the
about
rivalry.
the Bears? You love the rivalry. How do you feel about the Bears?
I think the Bears are fine. I hate that they're winning, but I like the Bears as a team, and I like the fact that they're getting better.
You're not
Never
yelling
forget.
at Jamie, Frank.
The Bears still suck.
Not mad. I'm disappointed in both of you.
Wow.
Parker and I are the only two true sickos on this show. That's what
We
I've
knew
learned.
that. Let's be
We
honest.
knew
We
that.
knew
Yeah, we did know that. Take a little more Sudafed. We'll talk to you in a little bit. All right. It's Daybreak. This is the Civic Media Network. Wow.
Wow.
That went off the rails fast, and I loved it.
I didn't think we were going back on it, and yet here we are.
Here we are.
Then,
For the
then
record.
when you said we're doing this, I was like, okay. So we'll do Parker. We'll scrap. We'll do some shit you need to know next.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I'll pull that other
that
thing
can
and
get
put
moved
it in
to tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For the
when you-
record.
I wasn't trying to skate by the conversation. I was like, I don't think I actually hate a team. For those,
I
Not
forgot to
one?
mention I hate Notre Dame.
for those
Oh,
45 minutes, I was
Yeah.
A
thinking
lot
about
of people hate Notre Dame.
a lot of people
Yeah.
do hate Notre Dame.
Notre Dame deserves it.
A lot of people hate.
Also,
Notre
when you
Dame.
have a coach that basically kills a kid.
Mr.
That's
Plowking-
right. Brian Kelly killed a kid.
See?
He did.
Yeah, he
I
did.
That's
kind of
right.
remember refresh me. I kind of remember this story.
It was a super windy day, and he had a kid up on a scissor
Yes, up on
lift
the
to-
tower during
Yes.
practice. Yes, yes, yes,
Yep.
yes, yes.
Mr. Plowking says it's time to change the name of the show to Day Game, or to
Yeah,
Day
Day
Game
Game.
with Brian
Versus
versus
Frank.
Yeah. There you go.
My
our
four, for
alter
the
ego.
record, my Mount Rushmore,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Packers,
Yep.
Michigan State,
Yep.
Toledo,
Yeah.
St. Louis Blues.
Blues.
Oh, the Blues. That's a good one. I thought you'd say the Cardinals.
The Cardinals rival. You're kind of. I don't know. I haven't had too many run-ins with the Cardinals since like the Pujols days. You know what I
Alright.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
back
but you
when I
hate-
was a kid, they were enemy number. Same with the White Sox. Like that early 2000s, the Cardinals and the White Sox were the tip top of my list.
Mm-hmm.
You hated Wilson Contreras, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just making sure.
I hate Yadier Molina. I hate Albert Pujols. I hate David Eckstein. I hate that entire team. Scott Rowland, Jason Isringhausen. I could name all the
Go on and
Cub
on.
killers from the early 2000s.
See, guys, this is the content we need.
Yeah, see, Parker knows. I
10
hate
seconds.
Prince Fielder when he was with the Brewers.
Oh, 10 seconds.
All right, I'm out.
Local news, community stories, and the conversations that matter most. Now, more Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:22 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You are listening to the Civic Media Network, and I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. And another thing about the Packers, no, we're done with sports talk for now, but it was fun. And we're glad everybody chimed in. So we're going to mix things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And since we didn't do it at the top of the hour, we still need to give you some S you need to know.
It's a wake-up call in more ways than one. Time for some you need to know.
This is a very Wisconsin-centric edition of stuff you need to know.
It is.
Which is good. Harley-Davidson reported a first quarter profit of $25 million, down significantly from $133 million at this point last year. The motorcycle maker reported the results May 5th, along with a new strategy called Back to the Bricks, which it is hoping will change its fortunes for the year. Motorcycle sales did increase 14% in North America to 23,800 units. Overall, motorcycle shipments were down globally to roughly 37,000 motorcycles. In terms of motorcycle sales, the company saw an 8% increase globally. Their licensing did increase. The electric motorcycle, which seems to go against everything Harley was built on, but I know it's a sign of the times. LiveWire reported $5 million in revenue. That's up about $2 million from last year. So it's also reported an $18 million loss, which is also an improvement, which sounds weird, but that's an up from $20 million loss in the first quarter. So they sold more this year, but they lost a bunch. And the new CEO, Jonathan Root, said the global tariff environment continues to evolve. There are a number of factors at play in this space, including the potential for increased tariff recoveries, Root said. Companies expecting a first quarter to have the largest tariff impact at $45 million. As part of the new strategy, the company plans to lean heavily on its dealership network to enable dealers to double profitability in 2026, then double it again by 2029. However, much like the administration, they were not specific about how those goals are going to be accomplished. But they will. They will be accomplished.
Let's be realistic. This was not unexpected. We actually talked about the potential for this a few weeks ago. They're not also going to be the only company that is probably going to see these types of losses based on the tariffs. And I mean, none of this is surprising because the tariffs have wreaked havoc on manufacturing and the economy of the United States.
Yep.
None of this is surprising, but I do love that they're going to go with this back to the bricks strategy, which kind of sounds like they're going back to rethinking things, going back to a more simplified structure. And, I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. What else do we need to know?
Well, it turns out that there's a salmonella outbreak across the state, and it's at this point sickened dozens of people. And it's not just in Wisconsin; it is across multiple states, but it does include this great state. It's been linked to backyard poultry, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Urban chicken farmers? That's what you're telling me?
Right. That's right. So the salmonella cases have been reported in 13 states, with 34 people sickened by the bacteria, including 13 who were hospitalized. Now, no deaths have been reported. The illness has started between late February and late March. 5 cases have been reported in Wisconsin, according to the CDC. Public health officials have linked backyard poultry to this outbreak. Of the 29 people interviewed, 23 reported contact with backyard poultry. 14 people reported owning backyard poultry, and 13 had obtained the animals after January 1st. Now, it usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks to determine if a sick person is part of an outbreak, so some of these recent illnesses may not have been reported yet. CDC investigators in Ohio confirmed that backyard poultry had the same strain of salmonella as humans with confirmed cases. Even chickens or ducks that appear healthy can carry salmonella. Touching the birds or their environment and then touching your mouth, your food, is a common way to transmit salmonella. Of course, some basic, just hygiene practices, always good if you don't want to catch salmonella, like washing your hands, maybe not eating or drinking after you work with birds. Those types. Don't snuggle your backyard poultry. I said don't kiss or
snuggle backyard poultry. So remember that with your ducks that are nesting outside. No snuggling your ducks.
We're leaving them alone.
All right.
But we're admiring from afar. Regardless of how transmission happens, people infected with salmonella can experience diarrhea, fever, and stomach cramps. Those symptoms can start 6 hours or 6 days after swallowing the germs. Children under 5, adults over 65, and anybody with a weakened immune system may experience more severe symptoms like extreme diarrhea, vomiting while not keeping liquids down, as well as dehydration. So that's unfortunate. With your backyard flock. Look, I have friends who have chickens. I'm cool with that. But,
do they? This is strange. The house we moved into has a giant chicken coop.
Okay.
And I joked with my wife, should we start raising chickens?
Sure.
Somebody in the neighborhood raises chickens because I hear the roosters going in the morning and I hear the chickens clucking during the day. It seems like a very hipster move to me. Oh, I want to collect my own eggs and have chickens in my backyard.
Because of organic farming and because the cost of organic eggs. That's why they do their own.
Yeah, okay. Is there that big a difference between organic eggs and regular eggs?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
For my friends, it's how they're raised. The cageless versus the humanity. I don't know. I don't try to ask too many questions. I don't love birds, so I don't venture to their backyard when I go over there. Let me be real.
I know. Listen, I don't want to get into how chickens are crowded into the things. I get it.
No, I think that's horrible.
Sure, of course. But
I mean,
eggs, they have to make the eggs. Nobody's forcing them to make eggs. Chickens have to lay eggs. I don't know. It's just if you're living in an apartment building in downtown Madison, do you really need to be farming chickens in your backyard? It just seems it's like, oh, look at how cool and special I am, and it's like, dude, you live 2 blocks from the grocery store. Wander down there and get some eggs. Nobody wants to hear your Farmer Jones, you in your overalls standing outside with your handlebar mustache. Hipster dork. All right, hey, let's talk a little insurance. Maybe your property was damaged in the storm. We'll give you some answers. It's Daybreak on the Civic Media Network.
Man, what an hour.
I don't know if you've ever watched The Neighborhood with
is that Cedric the Entertainer's show?
There is an episode where, because they live, I don't know if you've ever watched it, but the premise of the whole show is that this very white couple from rural Michigan moves into the heart of basically one of the most urban neighborhoods in California. So obviously they don't fit in, right?
Right. Fish out of water.
Yes, and it's actually it's a great cast. Anytime you have like Cedric the Entertainer and I can't what is her name?
It's that Max Greenberg, the guy from
yes.
The girl show. What was that girl?
Yeah, I can't remember, but like
the
Beth
Zoe Kravitz show on Fox.
Yes,
New girl.
Beth Bears is on it as well. Like it's a good cast. And I only watch it periodically, like if I'm working out, need something to watch because it's like entertainment while I'm walking or something. If I'm on a treadmill, and I hate treadmills, but I digress. I would much rather be outside. But certain points of the year, I can't be there, so I have to go with the treadmill, and I need some good entertainment. But there's this episode where this dude moves into the neighborhood, and it's just this. It's on urban farming. And the guy raises all of his own veggies in the backyard. He walks around in barefoot in his overalls. He raises chickens, and the chicken is keeping him up. So they make this ploy to kidnap the chicken. And and if you know anything about chickens, they're not easy to catch, which they depict in the show. But when you were talking about the hipster farmers in overalls, that's all I could see in the back of my head. I was like, yeah, it's a great episode.
When you mentioned your gigantic chicken coop, I pictured Big Bird in it.
It is big. I'll have to take a picture because it's starting though. It was built on a hill and it's starting to tilt. Yeah. But it has its own address placard on there. It matches the house. It's whoever lived here. I don't know when, because this house is 100 years old, and
sure.
So they raised it, and it's big. So I'm guessing they had it's got a couple levels, and it's got I'm guessing they had some chickens in there. Now it's just gross.
But this has become a really big thing, right? For a lot of people. They do spend they spend as much money on these little chicken coops that look just like houses as they do on their own houses.
Right.
And they're decorated. And there was one lady that I was watching one day, and I get suckered in by stupid reels and videos on TikTok. There was this one lady I was watching. She was building her own chicken coop, and in it she's got she's got turf grass on the wood platform so the chickens don't slide, and she's got little actual nests for each of them. And I'm like, they're chickens.
They're chickens. Yeah,
those chickens.
I see a lot of them just roam by the road.
I'm always very torn by this whole, I don't want animals treated poorly.
Right.
But I also know that there's a food chain and that, I don't know. We're already, like, I would like them to stop shooting chickens up with so many hormones that now a chicken breast looks like the size of an old turkey breast. I'm like, this is ridiculous. These chickens,
horrible.
and they're tougher to,
Yes.
they're not as good. They're big, but it's like, I don't want them that big. I want them the old size,
I mean, if we remember back to the heritage of this country, farmers used to raise these things so they could eat and sell these things and butcher them. I mean, it's how it worked. Yeah. And I get that we've taken it further with corporations because you're right.
Well, there's more people, too. There's more people. There's more of a demand for all those products. A family farm or a small farm can't provide enough.
Right.
So they can provide a little bit, especially for a local community.
I love getting eggs from local farmers. I do. If I see one of those little roadside stands where they're like eggs for $4 a dozen and I have the cash, I'll always stop.
Are they pasteurized though?
Probably.
Do you have to do something different to them?
No,
or you just
cook them. I cook them like I normally.
I mean, that sounds. I would do that.
I
think
do
it's
that
great.
kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff. I'll always stop and do that. I'm not going to raise my own chickens.
No.
I just can't get over that Brian said I want the old-fashioned chickens.
Parker, it's true.
I know. 5 seconds. It's a pre-record.
I know.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We hope you are having a great Wednesday. If you're listening in Appleton and Oshkosh on WISS, or in La Crosse on WLCX, or in Hayward on WBZH, we are glad that you are joining us. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. The severe storms that tore through Wisconsin last month left homeowners dealing with damage not only to their homes but their property. As they file their insurance claims, some people are finding that their legitimate claims are being denied. Now, according to data from the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, in 2023, insurance companies denied more than 37% of homeowner claims, resulting in hundreds of lawsuits around the country alleging that some of those claims were wrongfully denied. So what can homeowners do in Wisconsin after a storm as they navigate the insurance claims process? And what are the options if a claim is denied? Justin Wallace is an attorney. He is also president of the Wallace Insurance Law Group. He joins us now to answer those questions. Justin, thanks for being here. So we've passed the point now where most folks have looked over their storm damage. But in general, if more severe storms were to roll through this summer, what are the first steps a homeowner should do after the storm passes?
Yeah. Good morning. Thanks for having me on, guys. So first steps are pictures. Document what actually happened to your structure. The next thing you want to be thinking about is how do you want to fix your structure, home, garage, that sort of thing. And one thing I tell folks with new insurance claims is that insurance companies don't just pay numbers. They don't just pay you. You give them a number to pay. So I tell people to get your contractor out there and say, hey, it's going to cost $30,000 to fix the damage. Here's an estimate for the repairs. Send that over to your carrier, because if they're not going to pay for the damage, at least that gives they're turning down something solid, and they can't come into court later and say, man, these guys just wanted money. We didn't even know what they wanted.
So you say take the photos and to make your documents, how detailed do people actually need to be to make the process run smoother?
Yeah. So let me maybe take a step back a little bit. Once the claim happens, you have kind of some limited options. Let me talk a little bit about if that's okay. What I'm seeing in the modern state of the insurance industry and what people are probably feeling after both the August of 2025 storms in Milwaukee and then the more recent storms that have come through. We've gotten a ton of calls from people, and one of the questions that we get asked a lot is, should I make a second claim? Like, I made a claim for that first when the flooding in Milwaukee in particular in August. Now I have another water claim. Like, if I make two claims in 8 or 9 months, Are they just going to drop me? And, one of the things I like to tell people is all insurance is a promise that they're going to pay for damage to your property if it happens. And so if you have decided I am not going to ask them to pay for damage to my property, you have concluded that your insurance is worthless.
That makes sense.
It doesn't do anything else for you. And this is a groupthink that some of the insurance companies are trying to kind of get into people's heads is, well, you have this insurance and you paid for it, but do you really want to use it? And the answer is yes. Yes, you do.
But in one Wisconsin county, the homeowner denials have gone up 150% because they're being dropped, or 150% more people are being dropped by their insurance. So I guess that does come to your question. Is it worth it? And if not, then do you have to? So let's say I'm with insurance company X right now. I decide, I have to file that the whole roof is off my house. And they then decide to drop me after that. Do I have any recourse against them? And even if I did, do I want to stay with the company who is then going to deny me when I really need what I've been paying for years without having a claim?
I like how you got there yourself in your second point after the question with the first point. Here's one thing that I will tell people is the homeowners insurance, there's a reason why you see advertisements for insurance all over the place. People want to insure you. They have actuaries, they have risk managers, they have math guys who figured out it's a good deal for them. So somebody will always provide you with insurance. With one caveat, assuming that you have, like, if your roof got blown off your house, like, it seems like if I'm an insurance company, that'd be a silly reason not to give somebody another insurance policy, right? Like, if that location that's a good, it's another thing if you're out there doing some fraudy type stuff, but that doesn't apply to most people. But that's the only reason where I think it makes sense for them to consider dropping you. If people make 5-6 claims that are all a little dodgy, you start to get it after a while. Sure. But use your insurance, and if your insurance company tries to tell you that they're going to punish you for it, somebody else will take your money.
There you go.
We're talking with Justin Wallace. He is the president of Wallace Law, wallacelawinsurance.com. I mean, are there common reasons why insurance companies would even give a reason for denying a claim that people should be aware of? Or, I mean, is it just basically whatever they're thinking at the moment or what they're seeing in pattern?
Oh, there are all sorts of fun strategies to talk about. They so one of the let me give you a couple of starter examples. Your roof and siding has damage from hail, but it wasn't from this storm. It was from a storm that happened before your statute of limitations. Crazy. Mm-hmm. We insured you for 20 years, but we're not going to pay you because we think the storm damage happened a year and a month ago, and you only have a year to bring a lawsuit for hail damage. We see, there's damage on your roof, but it wasn't caused by hail. It was caused because the people who put the shingles on your roof when they installed it, they were just really heavy with their feet and they tromped around a lot, and it caused a lot of damage up there. And that's what you're seeing. It's not hailstorm damage. I mean, those are the sorts of things that you see on a regular basis. Those are. I'm not going to the archives for the good stories. Like, these are the frequent flyers on the why is an insurance company not paying your claim a wagon here.
Now, let's go back to something you said at the very beginning, Justin, when after the documentation, you said, have your contractor come out. Now, so are homeowners reliant on the inspectors that the insurance companies come out? Does it make things more difficult if I have my own contractor come out and say, or a roofer come out and make this, I had this before where they come with the chalk and they make all the circles on the roof to make sure the hail damage is there. Does it complicate things for the homeowner? Are the insurance companies more skeptical if I use somebody other than the person they sent out, which logically you would think probably works a little bit for the insurance company? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great area to talk about. So you should having your own contractor is kind of your own baseline. One of the reasons you talk about how more policies are being dropped, and I'll tell you, more hail roof claims are being denied for reasons than ever before. And actually, in Oklahoma, the Attorney General has sued State Farm as a RICO criminal organization for systemically denying payments to individual homeowners after storms. They're facing problems in Colorado and California as well. It's a systemic effort to not pay people for their losses, and that's fundamentally what you're seeing. And so one of their best scapegoats is after a storm comes through. I think most people in Wisconsin are familiar with this now, especially a hailstorm. You get people knocking on your door. Hey, hey, I think you got some damage on your roof. I think it's going to cost a lot of money to fix it. Why don't you let me work something up for you? And those people, like the estimates end up being high. Oftentimes they're just out there to try to make a buck on your roof, as opposed to trying to figure out whether or not there's damage that needs to be repaired on your behalf. And that has made the insurance companies more and more skeptical of a lot of these claims. And so when I say get your local contractor involved, that's almost to the exclusion of the guy knocking on your door. If you get the guy knocking on your door involved, all of the wrong bells and whistles are going to go off in everybody's brains. If you get your guy down the street who does the construction work in your area, that's going to give it a more kind of authentic feel to it. And you can say, look, this guy's actually going to do the work himself. He's not going to sub out some people from Illinois, you know?
Yeah.
If there's people right now listening and they're going through they've had storm damage, they're going through this insurance process right now. Insurance isn't responding. They're slow walking. What options does the homeowner have, and when do they get somebody like you involved in the process to help expedite these things so they can get on with life?
Yeah, no, great. Thanks for that opportunity. So you get somebody like me involved. I litigate insurance denials and extreme delays. And so once your insurance company says, we are paying you X, that is all we're ever paying you in a million years, that's when you want to start to get on the phone and think, okay, I don't think X doesn't work for me. I don't think X is fair. Let's contact a lawyer to work on the process. However, before that, there's a lot of process to do. I would, if you're not hearing back, if there are delay issues, be obnoxious about sending them emails. Just hey, I haven't heard, and be specific, right? Today is Wednesday. I sent you guys emails last Monday, last Friday, last Wednesday. I have not heard any responses. Am I missing your responses? Am I just be pedantically obnoxious about how you're just trying to get a response from them? Because I can guarantee you when you hire somebody like me, what the insurance company is say, well, we were actually trying to get a hold of you and you wouldn't answer your phone, that sort of thing. Well, if you check your phone records, you might see that you missed a call from us back in and so it's like, well, we sent this, here are the 15 emails we sent you over the course of 3 months with all of these requests. Like, and it just makes the documentation a little bit more in your favor. Tell them what you want them to do and what they're not doing right.
Justin, in your practice, besides the roofs like you were talking about and the hail damage, what else are you seeing as big areas for denial that people are contacting you about?
Yeah, and so with the storms and everything, I kind of came on to talk about property damage. I also health insurance claims. If your health insurance company is not paying your health insurance, your medical bill. I also deal with life insurance type situations. I really will go after any insurance company that made you a promise that's not they're not living up to. And a lot of that, especially in the last couple of years with the storms in Wisconsin, has been property damage related. But we do all sorts of stuff over here, and we look forward to the opportunity to just help people get what they paid for.
And as we start wrapping up here this morning, we've talked a lot about homeowners, but can you speak about the options small business owners or maybe even landlords have if there's storm damage to their properties?
Yeah, be more attentive to that if you don't live there. Like, and I would even consider, especially if you're in a commercial property, there are public adjusters in Wisconsin that what they are is they're effectively your claim adjuster. And a lot of them have worked for insurance companies. And so if you need help with a situation, it's just early on and you're feeling like you're not getting anywhere, a public adjuster call can be helpful to just because they can put the documentation in a way that the insurance companies like it to pay for it.
Justin, we've got about a minute left. could you just real quick, what is the Unfair Claims Settlement Practices Act?
Yeah, so
fast.
Wisconsin has a very weak law that tries to protect policyholders from insurance companies. Courts have largely whittled away at it. Wisconsin's in the middle of the road in terms of how easy it is to sue your insurance company. In California, I feel like if they suggest that they're not going to pay your claim, you just get millions of dollars. And in Alabama, I feel like if they kick you in the face, nobody cares.
Well, Justin, we got to go. But if you have any insurance law questions, WallaceInsuranceLaw.com is where you go. Talk to Justin. Very high energy. He'll get things done for you. WallaceInsuranceLaw.com. Justin, thanks very much.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, folks. Where is that? There it is.
And we're back, and we're back, and we're back, smoking crack.
Oh, you can't do that on air.
I can't do that anywhere. It's against the law, and it seems extremely dumb.
I suppose that's true.
Yeah, I knew we were going into that interview, and I had leaned back, and all of a sudden I heard Jamie talk, and I sprang up, and I went, and I'm Brian Noonan, and it was like, oh man, okay.
I saw you like leaning back in your chair like this for a while, and I figured that was you laughing once you said that.
I cracked myself up. I was like, oh, I hope Parker has our mics down, because that would sound really weird.
I don't remember.
Very Pavlov dog. I heard Jamie say, I'm Jamie Martinson, and I'm Brian Noonan. Huh? Yes. Oh, wait. And then I heard myself saying it on the, and I was like, oh.
Wait a minute.
Dummy.
And I do, when we're done with the show, I can tell you what I use and then some of the other products for the lav mics, because I just saw your.
Cool. Yeah. Because I want to get some before Friday, and I think it'll be good to have, because when I was trying to record even one of the first things, and I was out and it was windy, I was like, oh, this isn't.
I just got mine off Amazon.
Yeah, I was looking yesterday.
They have several like big names, and the one I got is actually an off, like, I don't want to say off brand. It's just a small brand, and it works really well.
Well, yeah, the one I saw yesterday that I was thinking of comes with two of them, and it had 5-star reviews, and it was on sale for half price basically. And I was like,
the one I use I think was like $70.
Okay. Yeah, this one I looked at started at $60.
Yeah.
And it was on sale yesterday.
Maybe 56. I don't know. It was 50, 60, something like that. And it comes with like little foam head, the little like, looks like a little cat head for a kind of thing. You can do that. And then it's got, because I use mine mostly for a lot of those monologues that we do. Mm-hmm. So and I haven't, because the last time I went to use it, first time I went to use my old set, it was broken. So I didn't have it. And then the next day I was having major issues with it. The new set, and I ended up having to send that one back. So the set that I have now, the last time I went to use it wasn't fully charged. So I haven't actually got to use it all that much yet. But
are you sure they work before you recommend them? I'm like, it doesn't sound. This is not a.
I've used it in testing. I just couldn't use it for like a full monologue. But then it comes with like the phone. It comes with just like a phone jack. It comes with like USB cord, so I can hook into phone, laptop, anything.
Okay, we've got
phone. I think is much easier when you're trying to do it on laptop. It makes it harder.
10 seconds till we're back.
Fairly solid, better than expected. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:52 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Jamie Martinson.
Good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. Are you mowing your grass, or are you adhering to No Mow May? It's 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. I understand ecology. I was thinking of maybe planting a pollination garden this year.
Yeah.
I can't go with No Mow May. If you don't know, No Mow May, is just like it sounds. You're not supposed to cut your grass during May. Let those dandelions, let your grass grow, and everything is great. And then, then bees and butterflies and all sorts of insects come and they pollinate and everything, and it helps nature. And your neighbors hate you, and you can't bear to look out the door because your yard looks like an overgrown nut place. But I don't even know what an overgrown nut place is. But
people who participate no mow May.
They're a little nuts.
But I get it. I get what they're trying to accomplish.
I understand the principle behind it. And like where I'm thinking of putting our pollination garden is some old flower beds that aren't being used anymore. Yeah. And I was like, now that would be a nice wild grow area.
Yeah.
I can't see letting my whole yard go that way. But that's the deal. Short manicured lawns don't offer much food or shelter for pollinators. They need flowers and places to rest and nest. The reality is, according to UW-Madison people, it really depends on what's actually in your yard.
Yeah.
If your lawn's just grass, turf grass, letting it grow longer doesn't mean much to pollinators. If your lawn, it doesn't give the thing. So, like, I have a lot of weeds in my yard.
If it's just grass, right, your bees can't really do much with just grass. Butterflies don't really do with much anything with grass. To me, it just feels like if it's just grass, you're just doing this as an excuse to not mow for an entire
you're just lazy.
month.
Are you ecologically minded, or are you devolving into sloth? And I would vote for the second.
I do admire the people because when we lived in the Twin Cities, I'd run into these yards periodically where they got rid of all of their grass and it was just these beautiful flowers and plants. And then it was all so that they could pollinate. And so they had areas. I like
But do you live next to them?
No, and see, no, I do not live next to them. But here's the other thing. I could also never do that because I don't have a green thumb. I need things that just kind of take care of and handle themselves.
Yeah.
If I'm going to have something in my yard or even in my house.
Are these the same hipsters that are having their backyard chickens?
I was just going to say, if you hate chickens in your yard, you're really going to hate this concept. But I feel like I could never personally do it because I am not a good plant person. I don't actually know what to grow. I'm sure I could learn. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I'm not opposed to it if that's what you want to do. Hey, it's your yard. That's cool. But at the same time, I could never do it, which is why I do like the idea of a pollinating garden like you're talking about.
A pollinating garden is because one, you don't have to get a permit. Because in a lot of places, like Milwaukee, and I'm guessing Madison as well, you have to get a permit if you're going to let your yard just go to seed.
Yeah.
You can't.
Right. In fact, there's several cities across this state: De Pere, Fond du Lac, Green Bay, Oshkosh, Wisconsin Rapids. Those are all places that have completely dropped this program.
Yeah.
Because I mean, no mow May. I could understand for a lot of people could turn into no mow June. And no mow July.
Well, listen, I saw one butterfly. I'm never mowing the lawn again.
That's right.
Really?
It landed right there.
And I guess maybe because I have a lot of wooded land and stuff there. I see a lot of bees around my yard. I see butterflies when they come out. So, and I did send Debbie I saw an article in the Journal Sentinel the other day about what you need to grow in Wisconsin to get a pollinator garden. And I was like, all right, well, this is a good start. Because like you, Jamie, I don't know what about it. It's not just weeds. It's not just grass. No. You got to put certain things in there, succulents and whatnot.
I know. And I do love the new approach that some cities like Appleton are taking where they call it slow mow summer. So what this is more of a focus on mowing less often, but still mowing, taking care of the yard, and planting low growing flowers like clover or creeping thyme, and also cutting back on the pesticides because because UW says it's not about the tall grass. As research finds, because if you know what butterflies and bees land on, it's not grass. It's about having the right plants to attract them. And that's essentially what it is. So if you want to participate in No Mow May, might need to do a little research instead of just, taking the oil out of the lawnmower
and tell your
or
neighbors,
not starting it up.
Just go, listen, Bob, it's not that I've let my place go down. I'm not trying to drive down the home comps around here. I'm just trying to get more butterflies and bees. And I'm sure your neighbor will go, oh, good, that's what we want. More bees near the yard. That's fantastic. Thanks.
A lot of researchers also recommend that if you are somebody, and because let's be realistic, honeybees especially are becoming endangered,
Yes,
right?
they
I mean, it is a major issue, and they are a part of our food source and our food chain. But if you want to help them and you want to help any sort of pollinator, researchers also recommend any sort of flowering plant to your lawn, which might be a better option than mowing altogether. Now, even if you don't want to do that, maybe you just want to put some really great pots of flowers outside, right? Because that also helps, and you're also helping contribute.
There's
and
a lot of ways to do it and not look like you're living in an
neighbors.
abandoned home.
Don't
Just
anger the
stop.
neighbors. Even if you don't have a great relationship with them, you still have to live next to them.
Correct. This time of the year, I miss. Every year in school, we used to do that butterfly thing where they'd send you the larva and you'd watch them evolve into butterflies. And even as a heartless grown man, I loved the day when we got to release the butterflies, because when a butterfly sits on your finger,
it's so
it's
cool.
really cool. And the kids would go, oh, Mr. Noonan, does it hurt? And no, here, let it sit on your
so
finger.
Gentle.
Oh,
They're so gentle.
I missed that.
I had a friend who at her wedding released over 100 butterflies, and it was in sentiment to their relatives who had passed that couldn't be there that day. They were all monarchs. They were beautiful, and they were released into nature, and they did it all through a DNR type service, so it was all done correctly. It was awesome.
All right, we're done. We're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6. Thanks for being part of the show. I'm Brian Noonan. This is Daybreak.
I'm Jamie Martinson, 8:59. Thank you again for today on the Civic Media Network.
Bye.
All right, live stream. We will see
live
you
stream
tomorrow.